If athleisure was a radio show, this would be that radio show. Bo Bishop, a man of fine taste and Montana class.
My wife will try and drag me to like an Easter brunch buffet, and I don't even like that because I don't like everybody standing over food I'm going to eat.
Friends with the highest intellectuals.
We found out the hard way. We have white furniture. That's all I'll say.
What a mess.
Oh, God. Holy
Literally.
An athlete, coach, husband, and father.
That drives me nuts. My kids are, I'm him. Shut up. Kidding me? You're 9. You're not him. I don't even know what the hell that means.
And two guys who are considerable downgrades from a former football player.
You were saying the Olympics wasn't interesting you yesterday. Well, can I offer you 50 seconds of interest?
50 seconds of interest is a similar pitch I make to my girlfriend on a nightly basis.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. In this instance, it is the great Tim May joining us here in studio. Reese is here as well. We're loaded up, kids. You got your emails at 10 o'clock. I've got a full inbox of those. Lots of good ones on the Buckeyes and what happened out in Eugene and what it means for the rest of the season. Tim's good buddy, Paul Finebaum, going to stop by at 10:33. We're going to have our bulletproof vests on for that one because I'm guessing we're going to take some strays. NFL beat the house coming up at 11 o'clock. Reese is 77 games over 500 and just cashing checks and stacking money in his mattress on a weekly basis. We'll see if that can continue. 11:33, the Jackets back at home tonight against the Sabres. A little bit of Shelley time. Tim, it is great to see you, my friend. You did, and last we talked, you were, I believe, with Snook en route to Autzen, and then you were going to take in the game, and then, as is customary of a Tim May, one of those places you like to visit from time to time, road trip, you then enjoyed yourself for a couple of days in the great state of Oregon. So I made the case leading into the Oregon game, results notwithstanding, that I think that's going to be the number one road trip for Buckeye fans going forward.
Dude, there were still people coming back from there along with me yesterday from Portland. I mean, the plane seemed to be like 80% Buckeye fans, and then in Chicago, same thing in where the connection was. But yeah, it was. I think Buckeye fans really got a great kick out of everything except the ending of the game. But what a place! I mean, I've never been to Oregon, as I told you last week. I got to see Crater Lake, which I wanted to see since I was 8 years old. My buddy Snook tolerated that, and we hung out in Bend for a couple of days, which is over in the middle. Well, not the middle of the state. That's a huge state.
It's a big state. The West is big.
But man, what a gorgeous. What a gorgeous freaking state. That's all I got to say. We went from the Pacific Coast on Thursday to Corvallis. We spent the night in Corvallis because they were tolerably expensive hotel rooms, and then went to Bend for a couple of days and had a great time, and then went back to Portland and came back. But the only thing I missed was Mount Hood had a cloud over it every chance I got to see it. So that's life. You have to – I would say I was 4 out of 7 on that trip. Go ahead now.
I tell you, I think the only negative is just sometimes the cloud cover and the rain. But guess what? We have a lot of cloud cover and rain here.
Yes.
So
yes, but we don't have Mount Hood out there.
We do not. No, we do not have. Mad River Mountain is not Mount Hood. No, we do not have that.
And real quick, I told you the first guy, the very first person I saw when we pulled up, because Crater Lake, you go up this winding, very dangerous road. Sure. To get to the rim, and walk into the gift shop there because Jeff and I are both up in years. We both had to have a stop, if you know what I'm saying. And I walk in the door and I hear Tim May, and I look over and it's Tito. It's Jeff Thidoff and his wife. I'm going, you got to be kidding me!
I can't believe that didn't ruin your whole trip.
Oh no,
seeing Thidoff out there.
Yeah, exactly, Tito.
The crazy thing about it is you had a lot going on, but I think what will happen in the future will be people will tie in the game and going out there to going and playing Bandon Dunes.
Oh, wish I'd done that. Yeah,
and doing that type of thing. It's an awesome place. What was your impressions of Autzen, and what were your impressions of just the Oregon game day experience?
It lived up to the billing. I mean, Autzen. Now, I was sitting in the press box, and I ended up in the middle of the front row of the press box.
Wow.
For some reason.
As appropriate for a man of your stature.
Yeah, exactly. Except you can't really see the replays from there. I know what they're doing there. All the locals know where to sit. That's the way I always look at it. it's like us. We moved to the second row in Ohio Stadium press box when it was new because you don't get the sun in your face and you can see the replays. But I digress. Yeah. The noise. I even asked Ryan, I don't remember post game, I try to wedge two questions into one, but did the noise live up to its billing? And it definitely did. At least the press box, it was ear piercing at times. I mean, that kind of noise that you could make people talk. You know what I mean? Tell us what you know. And it was that way on the field, the way I understand it. It lived up to the billing. Let's just put it that way, even though there's only 60,000 people there. I got a chance to, when I picked up my credential on Friday, that's in the football building, but I ended up going to the other end of the hall down there, and I actually said hi to Dylan Gabriel when he came walking in at one point and stuff. But that's not necessarily a highlight, but the whole facilities there, all the facilities there, Bo, are kind of like in one almost jammed area, except for Hayward Field. It's a little bit off to the right, the big famous track and field play. They are just so impressive, the facilities. And so you could see Phil Knight, Nike money all over the place there in terms of we're going to make this first class like anybody else and maybe more so. So it really struck you. And then the campus, the campus, an old-time campus, and you walk through there, and, you do think of Animal House, even though most of the things are either gone or been refurbished. I mean, the Delta Chi house is no longer, what I told you last year when I did, telling Matt Fishman when I did the show from a fraternity, the Triangle Fraternity in Wisconsin, which is right across the street from the stadium. That's where I did my tailgate show to make sure I had a good hookup. They could have filmed Animal House in that. It was literally like they decided we're going to copy all the junk sitting around and everything else and beat up furniture. But anyway, yes. And I wasn't in Eugene for a long time, but Eugene's just a nice, quaint college town, man. And Corvallis doesn't match up with it, even though I think Oregon State has a bigger enrollment. But, I just imagined John Cooper living in Corvallis there for a couple of years with Tommy Prothrow. It must have been really small back then. Go ahead now.
I think what has happened there for them is, and this has been a 2-decade plus. I mean, this goes back to Rich Brooks, and then it's Bellotti. Bellotti and Phil Knight, the marriage of the uniforms, and then Bellotti's acumen and recruiting. Yes. And then Chip was probably the apex, where he won 12 games pretty much every time he was there and played for national title.
Hey, did you see the photo I posted on Twitter? I called it, they need to name this the Chip Kelly beam in the football facility, because it's got these things certain things they won and played for and stuff on one beam hanging down there. But go ahead.
Well, he also had he gave Helfrich a layup in that national championship game appearance in terms of that was Mariota, those were his guys that were there, and so that was kind of the apex. I think that win on Saturday night for them was cathartic.
Huge.
I think it was needed. I think Lanning needed a win like that. And I think what is the thing that has changed, and as we're thinking about it, we're 5 days out, and I want to get your thoughts on the game as well, and we'll do that. We got a lot of time here.
Yeah.
But the thing that jumped out to me, Tim, was how important that win was for Lanning. And then I thought back to how important it was for Oregon to get into the Big Ten. Yeah. And how tirelessly, and you know this from behind the scenes, I talked behind the scenes, a lot of people about this. It was USC and UCLA, and I kept coming on here and I'd say, I think they need dance partners, but the Big Ten was reticent to add anybody else. And Oregon pushed and pushed. And Fox said, hey, I think we can use this a little bit. And when that happened, I think that unlocked something very different for them. And you had the experience you had in Eugene. A lot of kids in recruiting are going to have a great experience out there. They have an NIL fund that is robust.
Yes.
Obviously. A guy like Evan Stewart. It's funny. Everyone was talking about, Denzel Burke and Evan Stewart. And I'm going, just so everyone's aware, Evan Stewart was a 5-star receiver out of Texas in high school. Originally went to Texas A&M. I want to say he was a number 1 receiver in the country coming out of high school, certainly in the top 3, depending on what consensus recruiting service you looked at. And they got him to go to Eugene. So more of that will happen. And I think kind of the catalyst for all of it is the marriage of Lanning and that program. And the Big Ten part of it, Tim, is huge, because they are going to get these games now. And this is something that nobody really talks about much. They're going to start to get games where? In the Eastern time zone, right?
Yes.
Prime time in the East. Take a look at Friday night, for example. They play Purdue on a Friday night in prime time now. Now, that could happen if you're in the Pac-12, too.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, you're going to be playing games at noon Eastern sometimes on Big Noon Kick playing out here. They are going to get a different level of exposure than they've had previously. And to me, when you think about the biggest adversary for Ohio State over the next 5 to 10, they are absolutely there. They've won the last 2. You got to acknowledge it.
Oh, absolutely. And they the one, a couple of years ago, that was eye-opening just from the sense of how physically the roster had changed, meaning I'm talking about they had Big Ten linemen.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And that's what really had changed under Mario Cristobal. I mean, just went after it, and Lanning has pursued that, like, you and I've talked about before, that Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia roster. And that's what's key. You can have all the money in the world. We can still be trying to build a team the wrong way. They are so much more a Big Ten looking team than a Pac-12 looking team. And we talked to Lanning about that in Indianapolis back in July, and it's paying dividends. But you just see the attraction. Saturday night, 2 undefeateds playing for even though I know Indiana's sitting there, but playing for the lead, in essence, in most people's minds in the Big Ten this year, a 10 rating or whatever that was.
10 million folks watched.
10 million folks, excuse me. That's not chicken feed. That was the number one watched game of the week. And then you throw in there the bonus of what that place is all about and what they have brought from a quality standpoint, quality program facilities. Everybody keeps talking about Autzen Stadium was dedicated in 1967. Ohio State played in the dedication game out there and beat them 30-0. That was pre-Phil Knight. Now, you understand what I'm saying.
I do.
Now it's post-Phil Knight, or right now Phil Knight and Matthew Knight, by the way, who seems to have taken up, the whole fever. And they're only going to keep getting better, like you said, because of the recruiting NIL aspect of things.
Yeah, they are set up. They are absolutely set up. Now, you watch the game as well.
Wait a minute, let me throw one thing.
Hold on. We'll tease it.
Okay.
We'll tease it.
You also can fly there.
That's true. Yeah. Portland, it works out nicely.
Oh, but Eugene, yeah.
Oh, yeah, true. Eugene as well. All right. You have some thoughts. We've had 5 days since this happened. You and I have not talked since the game. We've had some time to think about what went down Saturday night. We will get into that. Also take a look at the Big Ten at the halfway point. That is coming up next. We're off and running on a Thursday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. And when it comes to fall, we often think of those cooler temperatures, the trees changing colors, the bonfires in the evening, and of course, football season. We less often think of those home projects that we've been neglecting or failed to finish up before those harsh Ohio winter hits. If you need to have your roof inspected or it's on your to-do list, you can ensure that Newman Roofing will get you ready for those harsh winter storms. The team over at Newman has you covered, and they're family-owned and locally operated right here in Central Ohio since 1992. The 3 generations that have been in the roofing industry, they have the expertise to handle any issue you may be facing with your roof. Folks, they took care of my roof. They did a fantastic job. They're the experts, and they will give you the white glove treatment, because when your name is on it, it just means more. So if you need your roof repaired or replaced this fall, call the company you can trust. That's Newman Roofing at newmanroofing.com or 614-NEW-ROOF.
The Christmas cash giveaways now at UDF. With UDrive Plus, 1 in 7 can play to win prizes instantly, including $1,000 weekly by buying specially marked items at UDF. No purchase necessary. Visit udrivecontest.com for official rules.
Football fans, are you ready to score big this NFL season? Hey, it's T-Bone to tell you that Bud Light and 97.1 The Fan have teamed up for the ultimate football face-off. Join us each week for football face-off events and your chance to win a trip to Vegas, where you'll compete for the grand prize, a trip for 2 to New Orleans, or the Super Bowl. Drink Bud Light, enjoy the games, and take your shot at football glory. This week, join me on Sunday at Shaker's Public House on Wilson Bridge Road for the Browns-Bengals game. I'll be there from 2 to 4 p.m. to give you a shot at going to the Super Bowl.
This is Bob Capace, owner of Worthington Jewelers. Our fall bridal buy one, get one half off sale is ending this weekend. Select the perfect ring from thousands of styles or create a one-of-a-kind ring of your dreams. Worthington Jewelers, where Columbus gets engaged.
Sunday morning football on ESPN Columbus and the Fans HD2. Catch the Jags and Patriots live from London. Coverage starts Sunday morning at 9.
Sponsored by Roosters, a fun casual joint.
Your radio home of the NFL, The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every single night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I get it. But there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. What a concept. It's quick, comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and he has a track record to prove it. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded their medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com.
There's a shocking new government report about the border crisis Sherrod Brown created. According to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, almost 500,000 convicted criminals have entered our country illegally, including nearly 30,000 found guilty of murder and sexual assault, including rape in their home countries. Now they are spread out across America because of Sherrod Brown's policies. But Sherrod Brown says,
I don't hear a lot about immigration from voters.
That's because Sherrod Brown doesn't listen to voters anymore. And while our safety is being jeopardized, Sherrod Brown is making sure illegals get taxpayer-funded benefits, like health care for illegals who get amnesty, Social Security, even COVID relief checks, all paid for by you. 31 years in Washington has changed Sherrod Brown. He's not for us anymore. He's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AmericanCrossroads.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
You'll definitely need ice scraper as you head off to work and school today. It is cold out there. Temperatures right now around 30. As we head into the next few hours, though, we warm up. Today, sunny, high 62. Tonight, we'll be looking at clear skies, low 36. Sunny on your Friday with a high of 67. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Hey there, friends. It's your Uncle Bo here. If you're like me and millions of other men out there and you find yourself feeling a little sluggish, a little tired, a little bit off, energy maybe not what it used to be, maybe you're not sleeping great. I'm telling you what, I certainly was not. If those symptoms apply to you, it's possible even more likely that you're suffering from low testosterone. Here's the good news. Help is on the way with my friends at Tri-State Men's Health. I've been on their program for about 6 months now. I feel like a completely different man. The sleep is an absolute game changer. I really believe it will be for you as well. If some of these symptoms feel like, hey man, that sounds like me, here's what you do. Go to tristatemenshealth.com, take the low T quiz on the website. If the symptoms apply, you just simply schedule a consult with them. They're going to do your lab work, have your results in 30 minutes. I went through it. Guys, it's so discreet, so simple, so quick. You'll have a conversation with a licensed medical provider. They're going to review your results, discuss your options, and then you're going to make the decision together with the medical team. The cost of the appointment is $99. That includes the consult, the TNPSA test. And if you sign up for one of their programs, then they waive that. That's free. So it's a no-lose win-win for you. Give them a call today. Get yourself back in order. 800-900-9654, tristatemenshealth.com today. 2 locations here in town. Quick exit off 270 in Hilliard and near Medical Mile in Westerville. Tim May in today with me. Reese as well, of course. All right, we have not talked about the actual game, and I don't want to get off on let me just do this real quick. A little bit softer now is unbelievable.
Yes.
Okay, so you witnessed it.
Yeah.
Animal House is near and dear to my generation's heart. I know it's near and dear to your generation's heart because I think it was filmed in the late 60s, right?
No, late 70s.
Late 70s.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, late 70s. Yeah. How many people out there have, like Reese, you've seen it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is it still required viewing for adolescence?
It must be because everybody got into a little bit softer now.
So
a little bit
good.
softer now.
Reese, put it on the poll.
Now.
I want to know, have you seen Animal House? Do they know what that's from? Like because our audience is diverse. We got older folks listening. We got younger folks listening. I'm just curious if Animal House is still a requirement. But it's awesome. That was awesome. It looked like the most fun you could have on a Saturday night, unless you were a Buckeye.
I was on a show with Matty Ice, and he claims hot tub something is probably funnier than Animal House. I go, you have not seen it, and he admitted he's not seen Animal House.
Okay, then you haven't seen it.
Animal House is classic in every sense. So and the thing that makes Animal House classic, really, now, I don't think you could make it now. If you follow my drift.
I do. There's a lot of those. I mean, Trading Places. There's a lot of those.
But aren't you glad you did? It's like you grow up and you did something in your past, but you don't want your kids to do it, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, how do we tackle this? When talent equates, hold on.
Go ahead.
When talent equates, the last 6 times, Ohio State's won 1.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening? Is there a common thread in these games? And I know a lot of people point to the defense, and everyone's seen the statistical analysis of it.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening in these games that is preventing Ohio State from being clutch when the talent equates?
Everybody wants to point to this. Dude, a lot of it has to be with happenstance, serendipity for the other team in some respects. I mean, that's the way I look at it. You can't go back and play the final, you can look at like the final, minute of that game the other night and see a couple things you can change. My point was they got to the 28-yard line, even though they took a sack on the first play. They got to the 28-yard line with still 20-something seconds left. That's where I would run the ball twice and kick the field goal.
Of course.
Instead of getting greedy, the kid Jaden Fielding had just nailed it from 40 in the previous the time to take the lead before Oregon went down and retook the lead on a field goal. So, they didn't get the stop they needed on that next Oregon possession, but they did at least force a field goal.
Sure.
And so everything's set up for you. Bo, as Ryan has said many times, he wants to leave no doubt in these games this year. The flip side of it is it does finally come down to a play. When
talent equates, it often does, Tim.
It does come down to a play. It's just like a tennis match. I mean, you're serving for the set and match and game set and match and several of these times Ohio State has not been able to hold serve. But what they had going for them is even though Oregon took the lead with a minute 47 or a minute 43 left, Ohio State had the ball in his hands with a chance to drive down the field and kick a winning field goal, and it didn't make it happen. But here's what's bugged me about it since then. And you can imagine, my buddy Jeff Snook, we got into heated arguments about this because Jeff is weird in the sense that he's always hypercritical of Ohio State, and lauding the other team. And I'm just going, that's okay, but, he claims to be an Ohio State fan. But that's neither here nor there.
For the folks not familiar with Jeff, because we may have some audience that isn't, longtime writer, used to be on the beat years ago, has done a great many books, great dude.
Covered Bobby Bowden, covered Steve Spurrier.
Been around the program and around college football for 4 decades.
We talk football strategy all the time.
Yes.
Especially after something
one of the brighter
like
minds you'll find.
Oh, yeah. And he's always thinking through stuff. He's hypotheticals. I don't really worry about life that much. But what? What just happened? Get it? But I thought the Dan Lanning thing, for example, this thing about being lauded as a genius playing chess instead of checkers, I thought it was basically I thought he cheated at the end of the game by just walking a guy on there. But here's the other flip side of this that Oregon fans aren't looking at is Ohio State was looking at an unmakeable field goal from the 43. If I think a 55, the field goal Jaden Fielding hit on his previous thing would have been good from 60. And that gave Ohio State, at least if it wanted to try a field goal, it put the ball at the 38-yard line and gave them that shot. It did take time off the clock. And now, of course, that cheating has changed the rule, in the last 3 days. So clearly a lot of people saw it more like I saw it than like what Jeff saw it, and some other people who've called it playing chess instead of checkers. Ohio State didn't have that ability to put a 12th man on the field and get an extra, take away a down or something.
Yeah, he used a loophole.
It was a loophole. It's like auto racing.
He used a loophole. Yeah, for sure.
What does the rule book say? It was a rule book not say,
Yeah, it's he used a loophole. I think the thing that you have to, and I do think this part is starting to become real, because there were even some comments last week from Buckeye players. I forget, there was an offensive lineman who commented about how they hate these games in the press available.
Well, that was Josh Fryer. He's just talking about, but I thought he played extremely well.
No. I'm not here to take shots at him. What I'm here to say is, what you have to make sure doesn't happen if you're Ryan Day and Chip Kelly and Jim Knowles and Threes and Brian and all the guys that are all the guys, right?
Yeah.
You got to make sure that this isn't something that becomes a mental block, where when you come into pressure, the feeling is, my God, we can't handle it.
Yeah.
And that's what this week's got to be about. That's what Happy Valley's about in a couple of weeks.
But Notre Dame last year, they handled it.
They got one.
Yeah.
But you should win about half of those games. I don't think anybody's up here thinking in a 6-game stretch they got to go 6-0 against teams when talent equates. But they should win half.
Yeah.
And that's the part they got to get back to. The good news for them is they're going to get immediate chances to do it. You got Penn State, and then in the playoff, and you're probably going to see Oregon again in the Big Ten.
You got Indiana, brother. I mean, you got Nebraska
I'm not ready for
next
that
week.
yet. I'm not ready to go crown Indiana.
Dude, they're playing extremely well. This weekend's a harbinger game.
If Indiana's a threat, we got problems.
Well,
and I'm really impressed with what he's done.
Yeah.
But you got big problems if Indiana's a threat.
Well,
Ross Bjork was on the Buckeye Show last night. Great. It did an hour with the guys. A wide-ranging interview. Lots to weigh in on. You're going to hear from him coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter doesn't have a mullet, but he's knee-deep in mullet energy. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com. Ends 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Welcome, Columbus, to the all-new Toyota Direct. We've expanded our showroom, enhanced our service with 6 lanes, 85 bays, and 65 techs. Enjoy the new lounges with all of the comforts and extras. And now get 0% for up to 72 months on 100% of all new 24 and 25 Toyotas. Come see your all-new Toyota Direct, the area's #1 Toyota dealer.
0% for 72 on a new 24 Tundra with approved credit. Max financed MSRP on vehicle. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock by 10/31/24. See dealer for details.
Just how liberal could Sherrod Brown be? What are his actual votes?
Well, he backed bills to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports and let transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms.
Very liberal.
Brown supported allowing children to receive puberty blockers and even sex change surgery.
Super liberal.
And worse, Brown even voted to allow late-term partial birth abortions, a procedure where the baby is partially delivered alive. That's right. Brown's votes for partial birth abortion are in the congressional record. And Sherrod Brown voted to allow this terrible procedure not once, not twice, but 6 different times over 8 years.
That's radical liberal.
Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's just way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Dick from Dayton says, listen to The Ryan Day Show. Paul Keels and Jim Lachey join Coach every Thursday from noon to 1.
Presented by Roosters, a fun casual joint, and official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
The Fan.
Gambling too much? I'm Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Mary Haven, where we offer in-person, virtual, and group options. We're here for you no matter what, and that's a bet you can actually count on this football season. Go to maryhaven.com today.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers, the people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. but she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Get your game room game day ready with Billiards Plus. Pool tables, shuffleboard tables, and games the whole family will enjoy. Now's the time to get your name on a pool table before the holiday rush. Plus, top-of-the-line grills still in stock. Shop Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin. Voss Brothers Power Equipment, where you get the right lawn and garden equipment for the job. Voss Brothers Power Equipment, where you'll find pros who know their stuff, who don't give you the runaround. Visit them at their Powell location on Sawmill Road for all your John Deere equipment needs, like one of their John Deere XUV 835M Gator utility vehicles. If you need power equipment, you need Voss Brothers Power Equipment. Come on in and get to know them by name at their Powell location on Sawmill Road. Voss Brothers Power Equipment, delivering enjoyment in mowing since 1989.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidda. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators...
like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
Check this out. The new iPhone 16 built for Apple Intelligence. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. Trade in any phone from one of our top brands for the new iPhone 16 with Unlimited Ultimate. Plus, get a new iPad. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? So with you.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 2 restaurant locations in Grandview and Gahanna. Drink local, drink High Bank.
All right, here's what's up on a Thursday edition of the program. Tim May in with me today. Reese here as well, of course. Last night on the Buckeye Show, Ross Bjork was a guest for a full hour. Great listen with Timmy and DeVere. A couple of things before we hear from Ross. We are in a point in the sport where decisions on its future are being made. You had Greg Sankey, Tony Petitti a couple of weeks ago sitting down and talking about future scheduling with the SEC and the Big Ten. We are in a 12-team playoff model. Will it stay that way? Will it go to 16? All of these high-level conversations are taking place with the Big Ten and the SEC seats firmly at the front of the table. Ross Bjork has been now in both of those leagues. He is a forward-thinking man for sure. He is aggressive in thought. I've been very impressed with him. Tim, I know you've had a chance to talk to him as well. Yeah. It is big shoes to fill Gene's shoes, but he feels like the right guy at the right time in the right job to me. What have been your early impressions of Ross?
Yeah, I mean, the analogy is used about big shoes to fill, but, these shoes are going now down a different path. It's like a whole new ball game in a lot of respects. I've been quite impressed with him. I was a little bit, hesitant to begin with, only because, we all know about Jimbo Fisher's contract. But, see, I grew up in East Texas, and I understand how Texas A&M people think. And if they can buy it, they want it. You know what I mean?
Why don't you, through circumstantial evidence and the fact that you grew up in East Texas, explain to folks how that probably happened with Jimbo and Ross's role in that? Because I think I know.
Because the big money Dilberts, which is actually, I don't know what you would call them down in Texas, they always want what Texas has got and more. And they've always been behind in Texas A&M. They've always had a little bit of an inferiority complex, even though there's really no reason to, except from athletically they haven't achieved, like the big school. So, whatever you need, you got. And those big money guys were pushing for the Jimbo Fisher extension after that 2000 season. They thought or 2020 season, thought they had turned it around. And those were the same guys, I'm sure, were pushing to get rid of him, whatever it takes to get rid of him situation, last year.
Yeah,
and
last year.
That's who you have to kowtow to them. But then you're shoved out there as really the lightning rod, so to speak, for what went right and what went wrong during the Jimbo Fisher tenure. So, yeah, I don't feel sorry for Ross Bjork in that regard. He knew what he was walking into, but number two, it definitely is not, all on him. He doesn't make a contract like was made with Jimbo Fisher without about, 30 people signing off on it.
Yeah, the other and Fisher was probably the most savvy, one of the more savvy coaches, along with his agent, Mr. Sexton.
I've got ranches.
He's got. It's one of our favorite drops.
Oh my God!
I got ranches. There it is. Yeah. We love it. But the thing that he always leveraged was the LSU job.
Yes.
So anytime, and LSU changed coaches about 75 times in the last 20 years, and so every time there was a job when he was at FSU, he'd leverage it, and he did it at Texas A&M as well. So I think folks got sick of it, and that's how he got that big extension. As for Ross, he is going to be in charge of this new look. You mentioned filling those shoes and the new path in college athletics. We're smack dab in the middle of it right now. So he was on with Timmy and DeVere last night on the Buckeye Show. They asked him about the new NIL structure. Here's what he had to say.
In the new model, when the House federal case gets settled, which hopefully will be in the first of 2025, there's still going to be an NIL structure.
Yeah.
And we're going to be able to help facilitate, identify deals, matchmake between a company and an athlete. That's going to be one system, one NIL system. And we can kind of do that now, but it's still have to take a hands-off approach.
Yeah.
Then there's going to be a bucket that's called just straight-up revenue sharing. That's going to be $21 to $22 million that we have to spread across the entire department.
Right.
We decide who gets what in terms of the teams. Hey, football gets this amount, men's basketball gets this amount, this team gets this amount. We have to decide that.
How do you do that?
There's a lot of calculations, whether it's market-based, whether it's Title IX applicable. We're still going through that assessment.
Okay.
What do we think we can be competitive in? Football, obviously, based on market, they drive the most exposure.
Yeah.
So you're going to have that bucket, and then you're going to have scholarships. So you're going to have scholarships that are traditional. You're going to have revenue sharing, and you're going to have NIL.
You know, Tim, the damnedest thing about when they talk about that House case and they talk about the $20 million, I think they are so naive to think that that's going to be a panacea.
Yeah.
And to think that amount is going to somehow prevent further litigation because they won't just call them employees. They won't. And if they just did it, that would solve it from a football perspective. And they
contracts or employees. Yep.
Absolutely. So I think that part is really naive. I think it's overly hopeful to think that thing's going to be some sort of a Band-Aid over the whole problem, and that's going to be the end of it. So things are going to be more and more. My hunch is we're going to be in an ever-evolving athletics landscape for the next decade, Tim. I see no solution in the next couple of years that's permanent.
Dude, the piranha, a.k.a. the attorneys, are in this water.
Yeah.
I would like to know when this is all said and done. I don't have the wherewithal to really put this all together. How much attorneys are making on this and are going to continue to make because they're going to stir the water, man. Hey, you should be getting money for like playing at such and such in 2001. Let's face it, you put that program on the map. How far is it going to go back? And the thing is, you may win those cases, but you still got to litigate them. And that's just an example of how deep the water is getting in this thing and how murky it's getting. But yeah, you're exactly right. Even now, guys are questioning or attorneys are questioning the $22 million. That's not enough. So,
well, Tim, think about this.
The House thing is not done yet. Is my point.
No, and here's the other problem with it. When they talk, and you heard Ross say that when he talked about have to spread that over the entire athletic department, I would just pose to him why.
Yeah, well,
football makes the money.
Well, he made the point though. That not everybody's going to get. I mean, there are going to be gets and not gets. And
right. And I've often said, like, Ohio State having 36 sports is bad business.
Yeah. Well,
it's good for the morale. It's good for university,
the collegiate experience. It's great,
of course.
Yeah,
but it's bad business because you got a bunch of loss leaders in there.
Right, exactly. But what's different now?
Like
than
Texas
it was,
has got 18.
If this had happened 20 years ago, it'd be one thing. But now, even if you lose scholarships, a sport that loses its scholarships, you still have NIL opportunities where you didn't back 20 years ago. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
You could still make enough money to get you through college, is I guess my point, if you market yourself correctly. And it sounds like more and more like the university is going to be able to help you do that. Like remember when some of the SEC schools way back when would give scholarships to track guys, but they were really football players. Well,
Florida State did that all the time.
Oh, yeah, and then the NCAA finally closed that loophole. If you're playing on the football team and you have a track scholarship, your scholarship counts against the football team's number, not track. So, yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of creativity coming, that's for sure.
Here's the one thing that has to be done from a football-specific standpoint, and that's where we spend the majority of our time, obviously.
Yeah.
They have got to find a way to give programs and coaches back some power over their rosters.
Correct.
And some control over what is happening. It's a contract.
Yeah.
They need a contract. The NFL doesn't have this situation where little Timmy doesn't like how his position coach is talking to him and he hops in the portal.
Yeah. Or
there's
little Timmy's parents or his his
uncle, whatever.
Uncle, handler, they don't call them agents, They don't like it. Hey, you could be starting over here and getting some reps and getting quality of video, you know what I mean, for the NFL where you're probably not going to play anyway.
Yeah.
But no, you're exactly right. They have to have some kind of control. It's never going to be boot in the rear end control like coaches had way back when, obviously, because then you're getting sued for another realm. But no, I know these coaches are frustrated, have to be frustrated in that regard. Right now, though, they're living off the fat of the land. I mean, you just mentioned a while ago Oregon's roster, how it was reshaped over the winter, and wow. But Ohio State's roster the same way. Quality dudes coming in because you've got NIL enticements and everything else. So I don't know where you go with that, Bo, from the standpoint of, I told you, 2 years ago, like Doug Maurice and I were talking about it, I said the key word is contracts. Contract means you have control over that guy where he can't just necessarily get up and go without reparations. Pardon the pun. But it's... Yeah, but I don't know how they get to that point because they just refuse. Oh, I know how they do it, but they won't do it.
We know. Yeah, just call them employees. Get done with it. And then you got control back.
Yeah.
And then you have contracts.
Give them their health and whatever.
Yes, of course. That's the way to handle it. They also asked Ross about turf versus grass, which is one of my favorite conversations. We're going to get to that coming up next in terms of what is happening there. We got that. You got baseball last night. You got baseball this afternoon. You got Jackets opening. They're kind of... This is kind of opening night. There was so much into the Johnny tribute last time out, so we got that as well. We'll get into it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where Ohio Basement Authority comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at ohiobasementauthority.com/row.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Shop low prices and great deals all week long at Meijer. Buy 5 or more and save $5 or more on hundreds of items across the store, like General Mills cereal, Swanson broth, and 12 packs of Coca-Cola or Pepsi products. Plus, shop our huge selection of Halloween items for spooky good savings. Get 25% off Halloween costumes and buy 2, get 1 free Halloween snack or jumbo-sized candy. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
From the mind of a 2-foot-tall talking spokes puppet comes this year's biggest challenge. It's time for Bob's Dare to Compare, the hottest game show on TV that asks, what happens when you compare Bob's to the competition? You get style. You get quality. You get beeps and boops and dings and whomps. And thousands of dollars in savings. Everyone's a winner when you dare to compare with Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in store or at mybobs.com to play now.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Rothman and Ice.
Ryan Day in this CEO position is able to talk about things at press conferences a little bit differently. He's got a bird's eye view from the ground level.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited Truck Month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
The season may be winding down, but there's still time to make the most of Buckeye Lake. At Buckeye Lake Marina, we have year-end deals on boats, accessories, and more to get you ready for next year's adventures. Looking to upgrade? The Buckeye Lake Marina staff is there to help you find the perfect boat at unbeatable prices. Buckeye Lake Marina has a long list of satisfied customers and want you to be the next. Don't wait. Sail into savings at Buckeye Lake Marina before the year ends and find the boat that's just right for you. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for more.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. Don't be fooled by the name. Chops and Reeser are just acquaintances.
Are you guys just co-workers? It should be Bishop and acquaintances.
Acquaintances.
That's what it should be.
I guess Bishop and Friends sounds better.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjork was on the Buckeye Show last night. One of my pet peeves around here, along with taking the gray off the sleeves in the home uniform, is their insistence on keeping turf in Ohio Stadium instead of returning to grass. The fellows asked Ross about that issue. Here's his answer.
The reason why we have turf, and again, this is all, predates me, is it's a multi-purpose venue. Mm-hmm. Right? And so to grow grass in there and to still have concerts and to have a soccer match and to have a hockey game in there, all those things add up. We had golf in there this summer where you could hit from different parts of the So we want Ohio Stadium to be a destination, not just 7 or 8 times a year. We want it to be used 25, 30, 40 times, whatever we can program in there.
Yeah.
So that leads to keeping the turf. The turf itself is actually fine. The technology that they have in today's world is just as good as grass. Nostalgic reasons, yes, that'd be nice.
That's just, I love Ross, Tim. That's just not true. It's just not true.
But here's the
thing.
Turf
is not better than grass. You talk to anybody. I've talked to folks in the NFL. Nobody wants to say it out loud, but there's a reason the NFL has more grass than turf. And if you can do grass, you do it. It's safer. It just is. And so this isn't a hill I want to die on. It's not that big of a deal, but it is not better than grass. And that's any medical doctor who's studied it would acknowledge.
Anybody who watched them try to put real grass back in the stadium, and after they lowered the field and raised the stands, understands the frustration that they spent millions on that returfing the place. You know the old when you walk into a golf course. It says, well, what'll it be? Replace the turf or returf the place? And they returfed that place. They had a big turf farm up around Bowling Green where they were growing the grass, and they just couldn't get it to take and stay. And that field got really bad. As I always said, nothing better. And you and I've been on that field, man. Nothing better than the Rose Bowl. It's better than most fairways I play on. Nothing worse than a bad grass field, than a bad turf field, though. And, you kind of have to do that little compromise. But I do think the field turf these days is pretty good. I mean, compared to what that little fuzzy pavement that they had back there in the mid '80s. That's the lawsuit I've never understood that hadn't been brought by football players across the universe, is playing on AstroTurf for all those many years across the board in some of these multi-purpose stadiums, et cetera. But that's neither here nor there. I don't want to get lawyers any more incentive than they've already got.
Here's the thing. We actually have some pretty big companies here who their business is to grow grass.
Yeah.
Like, that's the business.
You going to put grow lights in there? What are you going to do?
Dude, the technology's come a long way since they first pulled the grass out of there. In
Las Vegas, they pull the grass in and out. I mean, they have a field where they can pull it in and out.
At Real Madrid, they put it underneath the ground.
Glendale,
they grow it underneath the ground.
I know.
At Real Madrid. We've just come a long ways.
With grow lights.
This isn't that important of a thing to me. I just think we have seen a lot of slipping in this incarnation. We saw it in the last home game against Iowa. We had a bunch of guys slipping all over the place. So that's what annoys me about it, is that. But this isn't, it's not a hill for me to die on the grass thing. I just think it seems silly that you wouldn't be able to do it. And also, by the way, there's tons of NFL venues that have grass and host concerts and soccer stadiums and all that other stuff. And additionally, there's now a lacrosse-specific facility at Ohio State.
Correct. I mean,
you're not getting used for that stuff as much as it used to.
Well, but they're getting used. I mean, they've got those. It gets used for, in essence, concerts and stuff where it didn't.
Yeah, but they have concerts at Cleveland Brown Stadium and they're grass.
Yeah, I mean, I know you make an argument for both sides. I'm just, out at Autzen Stadium, that's artificial turf, and I've never seen a more verdant state, at least one half of a state than Oregon is. So, just they do it for reasons that, at least they've improved. They definitely have improved. They definitely have improved the product from a standpoint of what they're playing on compared to even 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's come a long way. Field turf a lot better than the old AstroTurf days. Ask Bob.
I'd much rather have it slipping than grabbing, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. You want to. Well, I mean, what you want is grass, because that doesn't do either of it. That's the one
does. If it gets wet, grass gets slippery.
It's the way they drain now, Tim. It's come so far. Look at NFL teams.
One of the great scandals in Ohio State football history was Ohio State versus Tennessee when they wore the longer cleats at the Citrus Bowl a long time ago. Tennessee wore illegal cleats. I don't know if you remember that or not, Cleatgate, but because it had rained all day at the in Orlando. But grass has its pluses and minuses, even though a lot of players don't want to admit it.
Let the record state, Reese, that Tim May is big turf guy.
No, I grew up going to games.
Grass confirmed.
He hates grass.
I grew up going to games at the Astrodome. You know what I mean? So
hey, Reese, I want you to. You got a big one tonight this afternoon up north. Your Gardos. It's obviously must win. Down 2-0. How do you feel?
Not great. Confidence is not high. You saw it last night with the Dodgers. Your stars come through big. The Yankees stars come through big. And the one game the Mets won, their stars come through big. Games 1 and 2 against the Yankees, where are the Guardians stars?
Did the Guardians set a record for leaving bases loaded without getting a run the other night?
They must.
That was crazy.
Like a single game run, I don't know, but over the last 5 seasons, it feels like no other team in Major League Baseball has left more runners in scoring position than the Cleveland Guardians. And it was bases loaded twice back in game 2. So, the hell? If they've got some on, bring them in tonight?
The beauty of baseball is one swing of the bat can change everything, just like it happened in the Tiger series. So, you never say never, but wow, that was tough to watch the other night.
All right, you brought me back on board. Guardians are winning the thing.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm not sure. Last night, you mentioned the Dodgers and their stars. I'm not sure I've ever seen one hit where Ohtani hit one last night at Citi Field.
It was funny because ESPN says that home run was 397 feet. StatCast says 410 feet, and I feel they're both shortchanging Ohtani by a lot.
I agree with you. I've never seen one second deck there where he hit it.
That was only $3.97.
There's no way.
It's no way. Again,
there's no way.
StatCast I would trust more than ESPN, but it felt like a 450-footer.
Yes.
It felt like that thing's hitting orbit like one of Elon's satellites is getting cracked by it.
It does. Jackets back at home tonight against the Sabres. The Jackets going to host their traditional plaza party at 3:30 this afternoon. Prior to that game against the Sabres, the party, which does not require a game ticket, will feature DJ, concessions, games, prizes, balloon artists, face painters, activations from Jackets partners, of course, will be involved. Mike's Hard's Lemonade, Tim Hortons, Pepsi's, Nationwide, Bread Financial. Blue Jacket players will walk the blue carpet before entering Nationwide Arena, and fans are encouraged to line up the carpet to welcome the team as they have arrived. Most players are expected to arrive between 4 and 5. Arena doors open at 5:30, with fans encouraged to take their seats by 7 for the traditional opening night ceremony featuring individual player introductions. So that will be tonight. Shelley time at 11:33 for the preview. We hit your emails coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Common Man and T-Bone are idiots. You should listen to them anyway.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan, Ohio's idiot destination.
Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard is celebrating 20 years of working for you. Join us Friday, October 25th from 10 to 2 at 3666 Lakin Road for our 20th anniversary event. For one day only, enjoy 20% savings on select rentals, and the first 20 guests receive a door prize. Enter to win special edition Bobcat Enterprises fleece hoodies and enjoy delicious food and fun. Bobcat Enterprises is locally owned and proud to have served our friends and neighbors in the Columbus area for 20 years. See you Friday, October 25th at Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com. Ends 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Looking for your next Subaru? At Byers Airport Subaru, we give you options from start to finish. Browse and shop entirely online from the comfort of your home at columbussubaru.com, or stop by and visit one of our friendly brand specialists just by the airport.
Right now, you can get a new 2025 Subaru Outback for 2.9% for up to 72 months.
Whether you prefer to click or come in, we've got you covered. Your journey starts at Byers Airport Subaru. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 72 months on 2025 Subaru Outback. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 10/31/24.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just a slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just out by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Great game. You got into the end zone again and again. How'd it feel?
Awesome. Like getting a new iPhone again and again. I just got the new iPhone 16 Pro today.
Really?
Yeah. And with AT&T Next Up Anytime, I can upgrade early every year.
Very nice.
Feel like an MVP again. Learn how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us and the latest iPhone every year with AT&T Next Up Anytime. AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Offer subject to change. Additional fees, terms, and restrictions apply. $0 offer may not be available on future iPhones. Next Up Anytime feature may be discontinued at any time. See att.com/iPhone for details.
Here's a sure bet for you. The ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus is my favorite place in the world. This is Scotty Vegas, and on Sunday, October 20th, we're throwing a huge party at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Come for a live on-the-money broadcast from 9 to 11 a.m. Stay for the Browns-Bengals game. The food's amazing. I love the steak. Dave Biddle loves the pretzels, and the big screen's ridiculous. Join us October 20th, Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21 or older to enter. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER for help.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Blue Jackets are back on home ice tonight. CBJ will skate against the Buffalo Sabres Thursday at 7 p.m. You can hear that one on The Fan with pregame coverage at 6:30. It's game 2 of a 4-game homestand. Daniil Tarasov likely to get the start in net. Columbus recalled goalie Jet Greaves from Cleveland yesterday. Elvis Merzlikins going to miss time with an upper body injury. Defenseman Eric Goodbranson was also placed on IR with an upper body injury. CBJ are back at Nationwide Saturday hosting Minnesota. In college football, number 4 Ohio State's on a bye this week. Buckeyes are back at the Shoe next Saturday hosting Nebraska at noon. Hear from OSU's head coach at noon today on the Ryan Day Show. In the NFL, Week 7 kicks off tonight in New Orleans. The Saints host the Broncos at 8:15. This update is sponsored by Dormar Heating and Air Conditioning. Need an emergency repair? Dormar can be there today, guaranteed. Visit them at dormarheating.com. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Not interested in Iowa football? Too bad. Chops will tell you about it anyway. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Thursday edition of the program. Bo, Tim May, the great Reese. Time for our emails. Hit it, Reese.
Our comment box is always open. Any feedback is mostly appreciated.
The mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let-up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more, and you got to get it up. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in. Again.
Bishop and Friends present emails.
Well, fellas, as you can imagine, we have a full mailbag today. This typically happens after what happened on Saturday night. We'll start with this one from Blake. The subject, Ohio State big games. He writes, "What up, fellas? Love the show. Always look forward to what you guys have to say on a Reaction Monday. No good, you guys read the emails on Thursday, so I'm almost sure that you guys will discuss this by then. Why does the defense always struggle in big games? Not being able to get off the field is something that we see regularly with this team, but the lack of pass rush or even just being able to create turnovers is beyond frustrating. Also, how much pressure is on Ryan Day and his staff to go win in Happy Valley now? The last part's easy, a lot. That's easy.
Yeah.
What do you make of the pass rush, Tim? This is something we discussed on Monday, but discussed it throughout the week. What do you make of the inability to get pressure on Dylan Gabriel on Saturday night?
I thought they did get pressure on him some. Here's the thing. It's just like this pass rush in some of these big games is just a half step short. And the thing about it is it's been consistent half step short, meaning not getting pressure, but actually getting to the quarterback. And the thing with Dylan Gabriel, and he proved it to him, stuck a pie right in their face with that boot, 27 yards. That was a huge touchdown in that game, Bo. His keep and 27 yards cut up. Nobody touched him, I don't think, and ran kind of weaved his way through the secondary. But the initial guy, seal guy, I'm trying to remember who it was, at the line of scrimmage, let him get outside because he bit inside, because of the play action. And just can't. Bottom line is, the other team practices too. They saw tendencies there, just like with them picking on Denzel Burke. I'm sure they saw a little bit of, him wanting to get up and get after it, the situation with him from an aggressive standpoint, and took advantage of it. Several times, not just once, obviously, because they literally picked on what most people thought was think is Ohio State's best cornerback, not just victimize him. They picked on him, and
Sure.
But the same thing with the pass rush. You can talk about almost being there, but eventually you got to get there. And I don't know if there needs to be a shakeup. Ohio State did mix and match up front. I mean, they played a lot of guys at the defensive end spots.
Maybe too many.
Yeah, maybe too many, but you know what? Give a give a quick guy a shot, I guess. But the point was, you also had in your mind you had to contain Dillon Gabriel because he's proven at Oklahoma, and then he proved earlier this year he can take it to the house if you give him that opportunity. But every game has a different reason why certain things happen. You know that. It's not cookie cutter how you fix it. But a common denominator is lack of stopping teams getting off the field on third down in the fourth quarter and not getting sacks. I mean, that's pretty simplistic, but there's a big difference between a pressure and a sack, because we all know great NFL quarterbacks, you can pressure them all you want. They're going to sit there. They're cold-blooded. They're going to nail you. So it's not an easy answer, but it's simplistically, that's what they need to do.
Not good enough is the
not good enough.
This
not
one from
good
Jack.
enough.
A couple of these similar, obviously. The subject, the Ohio State football team. And I think the team is what he's emphasizing here. Good morning, Bo. I'm contacting your primary based out of frustration. Yeah, we all felt it. The Ohio State Buckeye football team under Ryan Day has yet to be really good. They are very talented. However, he has yet to present a really good team. I would disagree with that, parenthetically. I think great team would be the one. Rather than having to wait until the last Saturday of November or later in January, we saw our number one defense exposed by elite speed. Cover zero has not worked here. Denzel Burke could never could cover Tupperware. Our best player is Caleb Downs, was hidden in coverage. I'm so tired of the media blowing sugar cookies and chocolate milk about Ryan Day's squads. Uber talented individually, underwhelming as a whole. I made it through Earl Bruce teams because I knew what they were, tough. Day's squads equal great individual video game ratings. Why not try a 55-yard field goal? Thanks for listening. Enjoy your show. I drive my truck around town. Have a great week. Jack, this is just a rant of frustration. There's a couple other here that kind of go into that. This one from Kevin, game versus Oregon. Hey, guys, if you know that your best offensive line or two offensive linemen are out of the game, why don't we run it outside and use our speed? We can't block anyone in the trenches. We had two big runs. Meanwhile, Oregon's defensive line and edge rushers were in the backfield constantly. So take them out of the equation, rely on our speed outside. Got out-coached in the end. Kevin with a similar one in terms of the pressure on Coach Day as well. Yeah. I think one thing I did want to ask about, and I do think needs examination. I don't know that anyone would argue. I certainly feel this way based on what I've seen in flashes and what he was last year. I really thought Caleb Downs would be unleashed in the Oregon game. I think he's that type of weapon. And he has flashes, but I keep waiting to see more of those flashes from him, and I don't know. And it's hard because on the television, when you watch it on television, you were at the game. Yeah. On television, I can't see what's happening. They shoot it. I've always thought too tight. The one emailer mentioned Downs.
Yeah. Well,
is he being utilized in a way where you take best advantage of what he's capable of?
Who knows? I mean, being utilized is in the eye of the beholder. Obviously Jim Knowles and whatever. I just thought Ohio State going into this year, and I still believe this, has two of the best safeties in the country. And when I see Evan Stewart ripping down the sideline with a step and a half, 2 steps on Denzel Burke and nobody else, I just thought in a game, this is where Jeff Snook and I agreed. I thought in that game, the important thing was to keep Oregon in front of you.
Yes.
Because Ohio State's been great this year about not giving up the explosive plays. Now, yes, great against whom? That was not Marshall out there, even though
they're good.
Green tinged unis, even though they were wearing all black. I'm talking about Oregon, but bottom line was, I thought that was when two great safeties would really pay dividends for you, but they opted not to utilize them that way. I mean, you saw Caleb Downs up close to the line of scrimmage quite a bit, occasionally Lathan Ransom, and that's what bugged me about the fourth quarter against Georgia was, man, just keep those guys from scoring touchdowns. That's all you had to do, and you win that game maybe by 2 touchdowns. And instead, they had a man-to-man coverage breakdown when the defender slips down, and Georgia's fast guy runs right by him for a easy touchdown, which got Georgia back in that game big time. That's all up. That's what I'm looking at. But I'm also looking at that Ohio State got beat 32-31, not 52-31.
I don't think anyone's complaining about that.
Right.
I think
let me finish.
If you won the Georgia game, then I don't think anyone's having a problem with the Oregon
But the
loss.
point is
that you didn't.
Yeah, the point I'm making is 31 points should have been enough to win that game, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? And Ohio State scored 5 times, 4 touchdowns and a field goal, and that's still pretty good production. What bugs you was when they gave up 2 possessions. The fumble by Quinshon Judkins, actually the ball was ripped out of his arms, which gave Oregon a short field for its first early score, and then, of course, the onside kick, which was reminded me of, from a strategy standpoint, it reminded me more of Waterboy from a genius standpoint. Just kick a ball straight at somebody. Hopefully it hits them and bounces back. That's exactly what Oregon did. So you lost 2 possessions there that your offense was not able to take advantage of. There's all kinds of ways you can analyze this game. But the bottom line is, at the end of the game, Oregon made the plays to win it, and Ohio State did not. It does usually come down to a play, as you and I talked about, in a big game like that.
One of the things that's been a common denominator in all these talent equates losses that we've been talking about so much this week is the defense is usually giving up around 500 combined yards. Yeah. That's usually kind of where they are. And there's busts. There's big busts. And it's happened in the Michigan games. It happened in the Georgia game. It happened Saturday at Eugene as well.
But you take away
this one from Dennis.
Yeah, wait a minute. You take away Dylan Gabriel's 27-yard run, and basically these teams had a push on total yards.
You can't do that, though, Tim, because then you also have to take away the interception on the first play that was called a catch.
I know.
So, what?
I know.
You can't do that.
I'm just saying that's the point. That's the point.
It goes each way.
It's not like Oregon ran all over Ohio State, is my point.
No, I don't think the emailers are saying that. They're saying we got to win half of these.
Yeah.
No one's saying you got to win them all.
Yeah, Oregon gave up basically as many yards as Ohio State did, but they made better use of it.
They did. My brain was in a pretzel on Friday thinking about how Herbie was going to be able to do game day and then get to the game that he called. Where were they at? He was at Texas, Oklahoma, Red River.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
And Dennis had it. He had it Friday. The subject was Herbie says he's leaving the show an hour early. So obviously that was known at some point Friday. But I kept doing the math in my head. I'm like, there's no way that you can get from Eugene to Dallas in the time that it takes to kick at 3:30 if he were to stay at noon. So, Dennis, good job out of you at having that very, very early. We are at the halfway point of the college football calendar. A couple of more emails in regard to what is happening this week down in Austin, which is right up your alley because it's college football and it's F1. So we will get into that. The other thing I wanted to get into is you brought up Indiana a lot as a very real threat for this Buckeye team. We will dissect that in the Big Ten at the halfway point coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited Truck Month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
Football fans, are you ready to score big this NFL season? Hey, it's T-Bone to tell you that Bud Light and 97.1 The Fan have teamed up for the ultimate football face-off. Join us each week for football face-off events and your chance to win a trip to Vegas where you'll compete for the grand prize. A trip for 2 to New Orleans or the Super Bowl. Drink Bud Light, enjoy the games, and take your shot at football glory. This week, join me on Sunday at Shaker's Public House on Wilson Bridge Road for the Browns-Bengals game. I'll be there from 2 to 4 p.m. to give you a shot at going to the Super Bowl.
There's a shocking new government report about the border crisis Sherrod Brown created. According to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, almost 500,000 convicted criminals have entered our country illegally, including nearly 30,000 found guilty of murder and sexual assault, including rape in their home countries. Now they are spread out across America because of Sherrod Brown's policies. But Sherrod Brown says,
I don't hear a lot about immigration from voters.
That's because Sherrod Brown doesn't listen to voters anymore. And while our safety is being jeopardized, Sherrod Brown is making sure illegals get taxpayer-funded benefits, like health care for illegals who get amnesty, Social Security, even COVID relief checks, all paid for by you. 31 years in Washington has changed Sherrod Brown. He's not for us anymore. He's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AmericanCrossroads.org.
Join Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and Jim Lachey for 2 whole hours of Scarlet and Gray goodness.
Thank you, football guy.
Buckeye Roundtable, Monday night at 6.
Presented by Burger King.
Your flagship home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan.
Everyone has that one goal, that thing they want to prove. Not to other people, but to themselves. Then, right when you think you could actually do it, cancer. And that goal is still within reach. Oh no, I'm about to run my first ever marathon with my 2 best friends. 3 years after having cancer.
At least we look good in these shorts.
Woo! Let's get it, guys. You, keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
It's Rocktober, baby! It's Rocktober at Lindsay Honda.
Just announced for the rest of Rocktober, we're lowering the finance rate to 0.9% on every new Lindsay Honda. And you still get the Lindsay Honda difference. A $1,295 value package included with every vehicle purchase.
This is it.
Turn up the noise with Lindsay Honda.
With approved credit on select in-stock 24 and 25 Honda models. Dealer contribution may affect consumer cost.
There's a shocking new government report about the border crisis Sherrod Brown created. According to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, almost 500,000 convicted criminals have entered our country illegally, including nearly 30,000 found guilty of murder and sexual assault, including rape in their home countries. Now they are spread out across America because of Sherrod Brown's policies. But Sherrod Brown says,
I don't hear a lot about immigration from voters.
That's because Sherrod Brown doesn't listen to voters anymore. And while our safety is being jeopardized, Sherrod Brown is making sure illegals get taxpayer-funded benefits, like health care for illegals who get amnesty, Social Security, even COVID relief checks, all paid for by you. 31 years in Washington has changed Sherrod Brown. He's not for us anymore. He's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AmericanCrossroads.org.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, sunny with a high of 62. Not quite as cold tonight, but still cold enough for the winter jacket. Lows in the low to mid 30s. Tomorrow afternoon, we are up near 70. And then on Saturday, we're looking at sunny skies, high 71. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And we are sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without the medications. A solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Tim May in with me today. He'll be in tomorrow as well. His good buddy Paul Finebaum coming up in 15 minutes. So you have that to look forward to, which is very nice. Tim, you are a Texas boy, East Texas.
Yeah.
This is an email we received from Wyatt, and I know that you are aware of this, but just so our audience is aware of it, the subject is Georgia, Texas, Formula One, and ESPN. And he wrote, in July of 2023, Formula One released their 2024 race schedule, including the U.S. Grand Prix on October 19th and 20th in Austin, where they've been to quite a bit now. Several months later, the SEC did a partial release of its 2024 schedule, showing Texas and Georgia, same city, same weekend. There's no way the SEC didn't know that F1 would be in Austin that weekend. So the only logical conclusion is that ESPN, the common denominator here, is that they broadcast both, went to the SEC and said, we want to cross-promote with F1, and this is a perfect way to do it. So you will put UGA, UT on the state, regardless of the logistical nightmare that will be traveling to and from and within Austin that weekend. You buy that?
I think the hoteliers had to be involved somewhere, in that, because I haven't even done a hotels.com or whatever you want to do it, search for what hotels are going for this weekend in the greater Austin area. But it's got to be nuts. I mean, based on the Oregon experience, Oregon, Ohio State, in Eugene, I mean, are you kidding me? But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The Georgia-Texas game at least is at night, and F1 festivities, qualifying will be on Saturday in the afternoon. So you'd have time, if you're super uber rich, to get from one to the other, probably by limo. But it'd be interesting. Chopper. Yeah, or chopper. Yeah, although there's not really a lot of places to land around UT Stadium, man. That's about as congested an area as you can ever find, Bo. I know you've probably been there, but I
haven't. I've not been to Austin.
But
it's
you could stay
in the resume.
Yeah, but you could stay at my brother's house in LaGrange. His weekend ranch, as he calls it, and it's only an hour from COTA, the Circuit of the Americas racetrack, and about an hour and 10 minutes from UT Stadium, but. I don't know if this is a bonanza or a nightmare. I think we'll look back on it and we're in a rearview mirror and see whether there's smoke coming up.
I'll tell you this. I think he's right in that this worked out very well for ESPN.
Yes.
I think we also have to acknowledge that what college football games are, at the most fundamental, are television shows. That's what the money's for.
Correct.
That's why ESPN's paying SEC teams. You see the ratings these SEC games are getting?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. $4.5 million up against Oregon, Ohio State. Ohio State did 10, but I mean $4.5 million for LSU, Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Can't get more regional than that.
A game.
They did $6 million at noon for Alabama, South Carolina.
Yeah.
So that's nuts. And you can't get more regional than South Carolina, Alabama. They become national brands. And so I think what ESPN sees here is, and I think he's probably right. I'm sure they looked at it and said, hey, this would be a hell of a thing. I mean, we all of a sudden now we marry F1 with college football. Mm-hmm. Let's go a little bit. The only thing I would say is F1 doesn't need a whole lot of cross promotion.
Right. And number two,
pretty damn popular sport around the globe.
And number two, basically ESPN just picks up the Sky Sports telecast of Formula One. They're not doing their own deal there. So, so there's that aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, I would have. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, though, to have two major events like that. Like we're talking about. That's why we're talking about it.
Do you think there's much cross interest?
No,
the folks that are trying to go to Georgia, Texas?
No, I don't.
I don't either. I think it's two totally different audiences.
Ben Hartsock's brother is probably going to try to do both. Maybe even Ben, but Tim May would try to do it for sure. I used to cover kart race up in Mid-Ohio when it was in September, and then on cover qualifying in the afternoon, and then I busted rear end to get to Ohio Stadium to cover the Ohio State-Washington game, whenever that was, back in 1993 or something. So, idiots would do it like me, but no, I really don't. The only competition is where do you stay? I mean, dude, I don't care where you are, the premium on the hotel rooms is got to be nuts because you can, it's from San Antonio all the way up to like Temple. I'm sure hotel rooms are just sold out. I mean,
what's the distance between Austin and San Antonio?
About, 60 miles, maybe 70, maybe not even that. Maybe not even that. But COTA's kind of on the southeast edge of the Austin area and stuff, and it's easily drivable.
Okay.
So might not even be that far to San Antonio, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, you could get a little bit of that. Look, it's a showcase.
Yes.
And it speaks to what the SEC and their television partner ESPN did with the schedule. In that we've talked about it a lot. They played the hits. I mean, this is a hit. It's pretty insane to go from Texas playing their most hated rival last weekend to playing Georgia for the first time on campus the following week.
Yes.
That is a crazy thing to do from a scheduling standpoint.
Yes.
But their television partner says, we want to play the hits and trust us, and so they're doing it. I can't imagine trying to do that. I cannot imagine playing your rivalry game and then playing the next week against the team that's been the best in the country over the last 4 or 5 years.
That's what they signed up for when they joined the SEC, right? And number one, they still got Texas. Last time I looked, Texas A&M was 3-0 in the SEC. Yes, Texas has a hell of a schedule. It's just really we'll get into that maybe with Paul Finebaum. But by the way, who you like at COTA this week? I mean, you like Lando Norris? Who do you like?
Is Lewis Hamilton still racing?
Yeah, he's still racing. You're just going to take
Nico Rosberg?
Is that your default?
Is he still?
No, he's not. Yeah.
He's not anymore?
No, Nico Rosberg is a long retired.
He's not there? Give me a Michael Schumacher.
No,
he's still alive, though, Tim.
Yeah, he's still alive. Yeah.
No one's seen him in years, but he's like that skiing accident. That was like 15 years ago.
Oh, I know, man. It had to be really super bad. I don't even like to speculate there. But, but F1 has actually become quite competitive. I mean, Max Verstappen's throne is in jeopardy, and you've also got the Ferrari coming on big, and Mercedes is hit or miss. It seems like from one week to the next. That's going to be. But here's the thing:
Niki Lauda racing? Is Niki Lauda there?
No, Niki Lauda passed away a couple of years ago.
Shoot.
Here's the thing: that's a weekend event, though. Texas.
That was a good movie, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. Texas, Georgia is one game at night. You know what I mean? I know everybody's going to be there, but that's the thing about an auto race. It's a weekend, not just a one-nighter.
Yeah, I would assume. I guess what I'm curious about is like how many Georgia fans are trying to go to UT for that game.
Correct. Yeah,
that
and
would
camping
be the
out
one.
somewhere. Camping out.
I mean, because you got to think Georgia still has Tennessee on the. They've already gone to Tuscaloosa 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
they got to go to. They got Tennessee on the schedule, and they have the cocktail party, which they moved the cocktail party back. That used to be like this weekend. It used to be a lot sooner than it is. They moved that back a couple.
You're like Animal House. You're living in the past there with that guy with calling it the cocktail party.
No, I just am not an idiot.
I know. I still call it the
Red River.
I still call it the Red River Shootout. I mean, are you kidding me? What's wrong with calling it that?
Let's settle down a little bit.
Yeah, but
I've been to the cocktail party. It's the cocktail party.
It's really funny to think that my baby brother, who is 66, could be renting out his house as an Airbnb for both of those events this week. I mean, he's only 60 minutes from both of them.
Crush
really.
it.
Yeah, he'd crush it. That's for sure.
Real quick, fantastic. You need one in Southeast Texas. This one from Greg. Real quickly, he said Indiana is coming, so he's with you, Tim. I hear you say all the time Texas puts the ball wherever they want to. It's a track meet every game for Texas. Well, let me say this: Indiana does the same thing for 4 quarters. I sent an email a couple of weeks ago saying that Indiana might be for real. Now it looks like they might make the playoffs. Honestly, if you look at their schedule, it's not crazy.
It is not.
It's not. It's very doable. Have you fellows watched 4 quarters of Indiana football? Can this Buckeye defense contain this Indiana offense? If they can't, they got problems. That's me, not him.
It's always the matchups. Always the matchups.
I've not seen 4 quarters of Indiana football, but guess what? I'm going to watch them this weekend because they got Nebraska.
Absolutely, I'm watching.
And that's a big one for both. Nebraska's 5-1. They're 6-0. That's a fun game in Big Noon.
And applicable to Ohio State, definitely.
Absolutely, because Nebraska coming here next weekend. Paul Finebaum coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
Welcome, Columbus, to the all-new Toyota Direct. We've expanded our showroom, enhanced our service with 6 lanes, 85 bays, and 65 techs. Enjoy the new lounges with all of the comforts and extras. And now get 0% for up to 72 months on 100% of all new 24 and 25 Toyotas. Come see your all-new Toyota Direct, the area's #1 Toyota dealer.
0% for 72 on a new 24 Tundra with approved credit. Max financed MSRP on vehicle. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock by 10/31/24. See dealer for details.
At Baths R Us, we're terrible roofers. We stink at installing siding. And don't ever call us for your kitchen remodel. But if you want a stunning, beautiful bathroom makeover in just 2 or 3 days, now that's when you want to call us. See, unlike most contractors these days, we offer only one service, bathroom remodeling. We don't spread ourselves thin by doing roofing or siding and a bunch of other stuff. Nope. At Baths R Us, we dedicate every company resource into mastering the craft of bath treatment transformations. It's why we're the Midwest's biggest 5-star family-owned bathroom company. And it's why we have the happiest customers. Just check out our Google reviews. Baths Are Us. We're terrible roofers, but we're awesome bathroom remodelers. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, loan to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. Baths Are Us, where dreams soak in.
A.J. Hawk won a national title, a Super Bowl, and a Lombardi Award, but his weekly appearance on Morning Juice Fridays at 8:33 is the real highlight of his career. If he tells you otherwise, he's lying.
Sponsored by FanDuel.
The Fan.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter, and fall is in the air, and that really gets me going for a delicious, savory breakfast like the Bob Evans new value menu with a whole lot of fresh breakfast options for just $5.99. I love the new griddle stacker with a sausage patty, American cheese, bacon, and a fried egg. But get this, 3 mini hotcakes. You're going to love it too. Here's the best part, the price. It's right in your wheelhouse. It's in my wheelhouse. It's starting at only $7.99. Stacked high and price low. Check them out at bobevans.com or on the new mobile app.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change will help ease your oil change-anxiety. Picture expert technicians who are quick but not rushed. When you hear the bell, breathe in and out. Now, let go of your oil change-anxiety. Visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change today and find automotive peace. No appointment needed.
Looking for your next Subaru? At Byers Airport Subaru, we give you options from start to finish. Browse and shop entirely online from the comfort of your home at columbussubaru.com or stop by and visit one of our friendly brand specialists just by the airport.
Right now, you can get the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester for 3.9% for up to 48 months.
Whether you prefer to click or come in, we've got you covered. Your journey starts at Byers Airport Subaru. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 48 months on 2025 Subaru Forester. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 10/31/24.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Bishop and Friends present college football's most polarizing figure.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Come on back to our show, Tim. The audience hates you.
This is ESPN's Paul Finebaum, sponsored by The Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact The Roofing Guys at theroofinguys.com.
All right, time to head out on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline conversation. Our good buddy Paul Finebaum, the Paul Finebaum Show. And we got Tim May in studio with us, Paul. So last time we got everybody behaved and we're able to get through. So let's hope for that as well today. Last time we talked, Paul, and you spent some time with Dan Lanning, and we talked, and I posed the question: does Dan Lanning need this one? He needed it. We agreed. He got it. It was a classic. What did you make of the game Saturday night out in Eugene?
I came away thinking, in many ways, that Ohio State was still the better team, but they did not execute when they had to, as I'm sure you have discussed ad nauseum. I think we'll see this again. I don't think you can read too much into it. Certainly, everyone's thrown up the Ryan Day statistic against top 5 teams. That comes with the territory, but I don't think a lot has really been lost for the Buckeyes.
Hey, Paul, this is Tim May, your good buddy. Thanks for coming on my show last week. Hey, people don't understand. I like Paul Finebaum. He figured out.
I think everybody knows that.
I like his shtick. I like everything about Paul Finebaum. And plus, he's making lots of money. Hey, Paul, is Alabama, before we talk about Georgia, Texas, is Alabama, Tennessee, do you think, an elimination game for the college football playoff? What's your take on it?
Tim, it's pretty close to it, and here's why. If Tennessee loses, they're still at Georgia. They're not going to beat Georgia in Athens if they can't beat Alabama at home. And they also have a terrible resume all of a sudden. Their biggest win of the year is over Oklahoma, which proved to be nothing.
Right.
And they beat NC State, which is a terrible team. So they really don't have anything going for them. And I think they'll be in a lot of trouble. Alabama, conversely, with the loss, still has to deal with LSU and Baton Rouge, a place I don't think they'll be able to win. So, it's not an absolute you're done for the year. But it puts them literally on the brink of disaster.
When you look at the at the onset of this, and we don't know what to expect yet. We haven't seen a 12-team playoff. We don't know a ranking. We haven't seen any of that yet, Paul. But I was always under the assumption that it would be 3 or 4, or 3 minimum, and as many as 4, and potentially even upwards of 5 that would be SEC Big Ten. That would kind of be the split on this thing. But there is a cannibalization that is taking place, per Tim's question, in terms of Alabama and Tennessee. Ole Miss has lost last week in Baton Rouge. What is your feeling on the number from SEC representation, and then Big Ten would probably be equal to that? What do you think the sweet spot's going to be with the committee on that?
Yeah, I don't think it's 5. And I think the reason for that is you've seen some weird losses already. Missouri losing a game it shouldn't have. You see, the Ole Miss loss to Kentucky was a body blow. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but, they're on the same edge as the team I've seen, but just mentioned. So, I think Saturday is one of those games. And then you have the possibility that Georgia is in the same spot. Georgia could have 2 losses before Halloween. The only game they have left that's consequential is at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is another wild card. I know I've just gone through a bunch of them. Probably the school I haven't mentioned that might be the sneakiest of them all is Texas A&M, because they have a non-conference loss to Notre Dame. Speaking of that, I don't mean to divert. I was in Birmingham yesterday for SEC basketball, and I interviewed Sankey, and he was fascinating about the confab last week with the ADs from SEC and Big Ten, and he flat out denied, Bo, that there is a deal to have a scheduling arrangement, as has been reported by multiple sources.
Well, do you think that is Sankey's so slick. Do you think that's a negotiating ploy? What I read into that, and I'm curious your take on it. Would everybody want to see? Oh, and Ohio State's going to play Texas. They play them next year to open the season. Yeah. But would people want to see Georgia play Michigan all the time and those type of things? Of course. Do you think it's possible one of those things where Sankey Petiti say, hey, we're willing to do this, but the checks are going to have to get a little bit bigger?
Yeah, and I think it's also a precursor. He didn't say this, but I think it's a precursor for the automatic bid conversation in the CFP. And right now, I got a really interesting vibe from Sankey, and just about the connection between he and Petiti. And we all heard what they've said publicly, but these guys talk all the time. They are in constant communication. And if you're going to agree, and by the way, another thing concerning that is all the bowl tie-ups already between the SEC and the Big Ten, so you don't want to get in a weird spot there. He said ultimately it's up to the ADs, and they said they're not going to tell them how to schedule, but the ADs know what they're doing. But I think it's a negotiating point for money. I think it figures into the CFP as well.
Hey, Paul, I wanted to get your take on this. Everybody talk about the big mega conference, of these two combining. You and I talked about it last week on my show from the standpoint of I don't see it happening sooner, maybe later, but sooner. But this is an example of what's going on in the SEC right now. Alabama fans have to get used to having a loss or two, even in the expanded SEC. Georgia, Texas right on down the line, right? I mean, I think this is an acclimatization period starting this year, like tough love of these aren't going to be cakewalks. You let down. Vanderbilt has rebuilt itself in the transfer portal. They can beat you, right? I mean, we're definitely in this new era of college football where a lot of people can beat each other.
Well, you're 100% right, Tim. But this is the first time I've been to Alabama this season. And, listen, I'm just saying, this is anecdotal, but, you're walking down the street. You're in the airport last night. And, I had 3 different TSA agents. Now, remember, I lived there 30 years, so I know a few people. But who stopped me and said, what's going on with this coach? I mean, they don't even mention his name.
Right.
Right. They treat this guy like, he's the interim coach until Saban decides to come back.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
It is pretty funny. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bo.
No, it is. It's one of the, you understand. You certainly understand why Lanning said thanks, but no thanks, because I'm watching DeBoer coach and I'm seeing Nick Saban sitting in a box above. At least Bowden when he stepped down at Florida State, like he moved to Birmingham, like he didn't want to be looming over all of it. It's such a tough spot for DeBoer, a tough spot for Texas as well. And I understand Oklahoma is what it is, but it was a rivalry game last week. They took care of business. They handled it. Now they get Georgia the following week. It's just a crazy thing to do from a scheduling standpoint. It feels like Sark's been building towards this for a while now. The roster is great. Georgia's meandered a little bit since the loss to Alabama. What do you make of this one, Paul? What is your read on it a couple of days out?
Bo, I hate to just jump on the train, but it just seems like Texas has moved into a very dominant position here. The one outlier is I am not sold on what Texas has done already this season, and if there's any Michigan fans listening, I really don't care. That is not as impressive as we thought it was 6 weeks ago. And other than that, Texas hasn't really had to play anybody that consequential yet. Where Georgia at least played Clemson. I mean, it didn't look like a big deal at the time, but Clemson is better by comparison, and obviously Alabama. So I think Georgia is more prepared for the moment if it comes down to the end, but Texas looks like the better team.
Yeah, but like we were talking about a while ago, I'm stammering because Alabama-Tennessee, I think, is almost an elimination game, definitely for Tennessee, like you pointed out, but with Georgia, I mean, what would Georgia fans do if Georgia misses the playoffs 2 years in a row after winning back-to-back national championships? I mean, this is a critical game for them. I mean, that's a stupid point to make, but
I think they got to have 3 losses, though, don't you, Paul?
Well, maybe.
I think 3 for Georgia, 10-2. If the losses are to Texas and Alabama and they win out, I think they'd be fine.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Georgia, and by the way, I'm not making this argument, but Georgia is probably the only team in America that could get in at 9-3. But I don't think they would because the 3 they would need more help, and Ole Miss has to be a one-loss team, and they're already a 2-loss team.
Correct.
So that hurts them, and Clemson is not going to, no matter what Clemson does, that win does not get any better than a good win. It's not a great win.
Yeah, it's a fascinating weekend and a lot of great games. Appreciate you, as always, my friend. We'll do it again next week.
Bo, Tim, great to be on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Georgia, 10-2, obviously they're in. And they wouldn't have to probably play in an SEC title game, Tim, at 10-2 because they'd have 2 SEC losses.
Yeah, you and I've talked about that. I mean, that could be a benefit. I mean,
yeah, it could be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you that's the way it seems to me. To me, Georgia feels like, I think them and Ohio State are very similar in this regard. Mm-hmm. Like if Ohio State were somehow to slip up and lose in Happy Valley in a close manner, because honestly, Georgia and Ohio State's losses are very similar. Yeah. Right? I mean, the way that they happened were different, but it's close losses in a tough place to play on a road with light competition. If Georgia were to lose at Texas and Austin in a close game, and those 2 losses are by combined single digits to Texas and Alabama, and Ohio State's 2 losses were to Penn State and Oregon, look, you're not going to get a bye, obviously, but you're going to be in the 12-team playoff at 10-2, both of those programs.
Are we going to talk about Texas, Georgia a little bit more later?
Tomorrow. You're back tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow's a football Friday.
Yeah, I'll just save some stuff there.
We'll get us fully set for that one tomorrow. We hit Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
The Christmas cash giveaways now at UDF. With UDrive Plus, 1 in 7 can play to win prizes instantly, including $1,000 weekly by buying specially marked items at UDF. No purchase necessary. Visit udrivecontest.com for official rules.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Quality, transparency, integrity, craftsmanship, and consistency. Those are the words that seem lost by many in the construction industry, but not on Newman Roofing. Because when your name is on it, it just means more. NewmanRoofing.com.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 2 trips to a Buckeye postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+, subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com and 12/31/24, void or prohibited.
Common Man and T-Bone.
I hate everyone.
Who do you like on TV right now?
I like people who aren't on TV, who just take their money and go away. That's what I like.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on The Fan.
Just how liberal could Sherrod Brown be? What are his actual votes?
Well, he backed bills to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports and let transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms.
Very liberal.
Brown supported allowing children to receive puberty blockers and even sex change surgery.
Super liberal.
And worse, Brown even voted to allow late-term partial birth abortions, a procedure where the baby is partially delivered alive. That's right. Brown's votes for partial birth abortion are in the congressional record. And Sherrod Brown voted to allow this terrible procedure not once, not twice, but 6 different times over 8 years.
That's radical liberal.
Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's just way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Now is a great time to start your holiday shopping at Meijer. Save big this week with our early holiday deals. Save $40 on a Gourmet air fryer. Save $30 when you buy a Keurig K-Slim single-serve coffee maker. And for the competitive ones on your gift list, select board games are 20% off. Shop even more great gift ideas like these in the Meijer Holiday Gift Guide. Available on Meijer.com, in-store, or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
Breaking news. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions apply.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Airflow Heating and Cooling and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
I mean, we got to change that. Reese, I mean, you're about ready to crush it again on the NFL side of things. I mean, get rich with Reese's Picks. It's that simple. We'll do that in about 10 minutes. Let's do thing or not a thing first. Hit it.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
I do have concern as soon as we start to tell people to listen to what I say, that's when it all goes to hell.
No, we're too far in.
So I just wouldn't. Again, that second mattress is coming pretty soon because that's where I'm going to stuff my winnings through the back half of the NFL season in.
And a pillowcase. Don't forget the pillowcase.
Tim's going to be doing scores tomorrow, so we'll see if he can kind of keep up with how we've been doing in terms of picking football games. But we'll start with Diamond Sports. The RSN conglomerate that's been a mess said in a Tuesday court filing it has agreed to a naming rights deal with FanDuel to replace its expiring agreement with Bally's, which ends at the conclusion of the Major League Baseball season. Diamond seeking emergency approval from the bankruptcy court to begin the new agreement as soon as next week, as FanDuel negotiated the right to terminate the deal if approval's not granted by Monday. The FanDuel deal covers only the 24-25 NBA and NHL seasons, but will automatically convert to a multi-year deal in May in the event that Diamond's still operating, because that's just a big concern at this point. FanDuel Sports as the RSN giant. Thing or not a thing?
I'm going to say not a thing because I don't think it matters to me. I'm still old school. I'm still cable, so I'm still able to watch all of this stuff. I know that it affects a great many of you. Reese, it affects you directly, I know. What does the name change anything for you?
No, I just threw it in there just as a example 1,972 of how poorly run Bally is.
Yeah.
The fact that they had this deal in place earlier in the year, knowing they were going through all of this.
Right.
I'm saying thing. Anytime you get your name out there, publicity-wise, is a good thing. Sometimes you have to pay for it. That's the way it goes. Thing.
We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but the NCAA made it official, issuing a new rules interpretation on how to handle a penalty for 12 players on the field during the final 2 minutes of either half. If the defense has 12 players actively participate in the down, the offense can choose, along with the 5-yard penalty, to have the game clock reset to the time that had been displayed at the snap. Oregon coach Dan Lanning said Monday the Ducks intentionally put the 12 men on the field to help run time off the clock as they closed out in the final seconds against Ohio State. NCAA football secretary rules editor Steve Shaw said in a statement they were looking to, quote, take away any gain for the defense for committing the intentional penalty. From the statement, quote, football's a very dynamic game. Occasionally there are specific situations where committing a penalty can give a team advantage. A guiding principle of the NCAA Football Rules Committee is that there should be no benefit when a team commits a penalty, end quote. Thing or not a thing?
Yeah, obviously a thing.
First, duh or not a duh?
I'm going to tell you something else. This notion of a penalty shouldn't be an advantage. The way that the college game rules pass interference would also be an advantage. That is, in terms of if a guy beats you deep, just pull him down, it's 15 yards, it's not a spot penalty. So there's another one that they could probably tackle. I was talking to a rules official about this, and the mistake was not noticing the 12 men before and blowing it dead right away. That's what should have happened. So as soon as you see the 12, then the play doesn't stop. The idea that clock is allowed to be moved off on a penalty against the defense, but conversely on an offensive penalty like the pass interference on Jeremiah Smith, the clock is allowed to stay off, which is a benefit to the defense, is stupefying. You tip your hat to Dan Lanning for getting away with it and being smart enough to know that it was in there. You got to tip your hat to him, but the idea that it was in there in the first place is ludicrous.
Yeah, it is a thing for sure. But the idea, because I talked to some official kind of guys and explained to me, it's not, you haven't committed a penalty on defense with 12 men on the field until the play starts. Because you could always have a guy.
A huge loophole.
Yeah. Oh, of course it was. And they drove a truck right through it, or a victory right through it. Yeah. The duck on the motorcycle drove right through it. That was pretty cool, by the way, at the beginning of the. But anyway, I digress. I think it's definitely a thing. I think clearly anybody could see it's a thing. And, like I said, the offense really doesn't even have an ability to do something like that. So definitely a thing. I'm glad they acted immediately. And I think Lanning may have made a tactical error by admitting how smart they were.
On Wednesday, word got out the Chicago Bulls and White Sox owner Jerry Reinsdorf is open to selling the Sox. Joe Crowley of the Chicago Sun-Times reported White Sox rumors mean very little for the fate of the Bulls. His report adds the Reinsdorf family views an NBA team as, quote, an investment to keep in the family. NBA's yearly revenue continues on an upward trend. It passed $10.5 billion last season. It's still below the $11.3 billion that MLB pulled in during 2023. Plenty of room on the upside for the NBA with a new TV deal kicking in and then expansion to 32 teams coming in 2027. Thing or not a thing?
I imagine that as you were reading this, if Mike was unaware of it, he is now running around his palatial estate pantless, because this is probably something Mike Riccordati has wanted for a very long time, is to rid himself of Jerry Reinsdorf. I think the crazy thing about Reinsdorf's run in Chicago is what happens if they don't get Michael Jordan, because it's just wild incompetence other than that. Wild. I mean, everything that he's done with the Bulls and since Jordan's retirement, the White Sox have the one magical season, but largely just a mess of an ownership regime. But the reality of pro sports is you don't have to be good to make a lot of money. You don't have to be competent to make a lot of money. It's the best investment in the world is professional sports. And so, unfortunately, he got in, and they're cashing checks forever on it. But I would imagine this is very good news.
Yeah, I think it's a thing definitely for White Sox fans. We'll see if it happens. But you never know who you're going to get next, right? I got to meet Jerry Reinsdorf at Cooperstown several years ago when Hawk Harrelson got inducted in the Hall of Fame. My buddy Snook wrote his book, and we got invited. And I just remember Reinsdorf saying to me, you know, that the most accurate thing about that Michael Jordan piece was, that series was based on a true story. But I think it's definitely a thing.
Yeah, it's wild incompetence. And maybe they're in such a tough spot with all of it in Chicago, and it's
tough to own two franchises anyway, man. Are you kidding me?
It is. Yeah, it absolutely is. All right, coming up next, we will attempt to beat the house. Reese has been crushing it. 9-5 last week. I finally got on the winning side of things as well. We'll do the NFL picks coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change will help ease your oil change-anxiety. Picture an oil change that's quick, not rushed. When you hear the bell, feel yourself becoming light as a feather. Now, let go of your oil change-anxiety. Visit Valvoline Instant Oil Change today. No automotive worry, no appointment needed.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing. Those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor? Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry, I think I invented something.
Does it solve a problem?
It solves a big problem.
Get Eco.
ECO. Heating and cooling companies are telling people your furnace and AC isn't worth fixing. You need to replace it with a whole new system.
You invented a solution for that?
I invented a way to fix those systems for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
That's a great invention. How does it work?
Step 1 is to pay ECO to fix it.
I thought you said you'd fix it for free.
Step 2 is that we give you back all the money that you paid us, up to $1,500 when you get ECO to replace it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
What if your repair keeps my system running for several more years?
That would mean you got all those extra years for free.
Paying Eco to fix your furnace is like putting money in the bank.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
Get an Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Get Eco.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Game number 4 for the Blue Jackets tonight at Nationwide Arena. CBJ will host the Sabres at 7 o'clock. We'll have it on the Fan with pregame coverage at 6:30. Columbus is holding traditional opening night festivities tonight after Tuesday's ceremonies honoring the lives of Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. Daniil Tarasov is getting the nod in net after Elvis Merzlikins will miss time with an upper body injury. Jet Greaves was recalled from Cleveland yesterday to serve as Tarasov's backup. The Jackets also placed defenseman Eric Goodbranson on injured reserve with an upper body injury. Veteran Jack Johnson will take his place in the lineup tonight. In college football, number 4, Ohio State's off this week. Buckeyes will host Nebraska next Saturday at noon. You'll hear from Ohio State's head coach today at noon on the Ryan Day Show. And in baseball, the Guardians host the Yankees tonight at 5:08 in Game 3 of the ALCS. This update is sponsored by Dormar Heating and Air Conditioning. Need an emergency repair? Dormar can be there today, guaranteed. Visit them at dormarheating.com.
Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on our Thursday. Time to beat the house. Hit it, Reese.
Beat the house.
Sponsored by Tipico Sportsbook.
All right, we'll start a Thursday night.
Well,
football.
First, give yourself your flowers.
So I was, 9-5 last week? You were 10-4. That puts you at 44 and 48 overall through what would be 6 weeks of the NFL season. I'm at 55 and 37.
My guy is 18 games over against the number, kids. Let's go, Reese.
So again, week, what it would be, 7 begins tonight in New Orleans. The Broncos are at the Saints. That's a game you can see on Amazon. The Saints are 2-point home dogs in this. 2.5, excuse me.
Okay, 2.5. All right. I think Denver's defense is real. I think that Spencer Rattler got a lot of very nice circumstances for him last week in terms of field position. I like Denver winning by a field goal with the experience of Sean Payton going back to New Orleans. Give me Denver by a field goal.
I concur.
Hey, samesies. All right, we'll go to Sunday at Wembley Stadium. 9:30 Eastern time will be the kick between the Patriots and the Jaguars. The home team, Jacksonville, is a 5.5-point favorite.
Home team.
I like the Patriots in this one, plus the 5.5.
So I looked at this thing, and I'm thinking to myself, like, why is Jacksonville favored by 6 over anybody? I mean, they have one win on the season. And we're wild. And then I went and took a look at what happened in the Chicago game. They dropped 4 touchdowns in that game. 4 of them. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. There's something about this number that seems fishy to me. I think Jacksonville by a touchdown.
I agree, because when the smart guys are laying it out there 5.5, don't bet against it.
Sunday at 1 o'clock, we'll come back stateside. The Atlanta Falcons are 3-point home favorites against the Seattle Seahawks.
So to me, guys, I look at this, and I think Atlanta has gotten it figured out. I think Kirk Cousins got it figured out. They got Drake London locked in. I think Atlanta is actually a pretty dang good team, and I'm not sure what Seattle is. I think they're fun, but I don't know if they're good. So I like Atlanta winning pretty comfortably in this one. Give me the Dirty Birds.
Isn't Reeser supposed to be picking here?
We rotate.
He's picking too.
Oh, y'all rotate.
Yeah.
Okay.
We rotate it through.
Yeah, I agree with the Falcons. I just think they're right now. Seattle's got a little bit of a problem that I don't like, and I like the Falcons at home. Same as you, Bo Bishop.
Same for me as well. Chick-fil-A is not open Sundays, but the Falcons are going to host. They're going to feast on the Seahawks, I should say, in Buffalo Sunday at 1:00. The Amari Cooper's new favorite team.
Oh my gosh! Did you see him, Reese?
It's like his first day of school. He was getting those, first day of school vibes on the drive.
Yeah.
Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Fine. But they're 9-point favorites against the Tennessee Titans.
This one's you?
Sure. I like Tennessee. I like Buffalo to win, but Tennessee covers that 9.
I'm with you. This feels like it's just a touch too high, and I think there's a lot of Buffalo. This is the biggest one of the week. I hate putting anything. Is Levis going at quarterback again for Tennessee? Because he's good for a touchdown the other way.
Looks like it.
All right. I'll throw the points then. Amari Cooper, 2 touchdowns. Bills by 2 touchdowns. Bills big.
I agree with Bo Bishop. I absolutely agree with Bo Bishop in this one.
Just save that as a sounder.
Battle of and for Ohio, Sunday at 1. Browns will host the Bengals. Cleveland's a 6-point home dog.
Joe historically has a lot of trouble up there. 1-5, everybody knows it, is the record. I think Cincinnati wins. I think that somehow it's closer than the 6. I will take Cleveland to cover the 6, but Cincinnati to win.
I like Cincinnati to win and cover. And for some reason or other, I thought Bo might be available to play golf on Sunday. I don't know what I was thinking.
I mean, you still
Would have been a scene.
Because you can listen to the game right here on the Fan.
True that.
Nice,
That's something you're interested in. I like the Bengals to win by a touchdown here. To Green Bay we go next. Sunday at 1. The Packers are 2.5-point home favorites against the Houston Texans for some reason. And I don't know why that is, but give me C.J. Stroud and a healthy Joe Mixon to win that one.
I think this is on a short list of games that if I had to watch one, I think it might be this one even more so than Kansas City and San Francisco. I think both of these teams are really, really good. I think the Packers not even having to give a field goal at home at Lambeau is really enticing. Love is really good, too. I like the Packers winning by a field goal and a shootout, something like 31-28.
I like Eric here. I like for the Texans not only cover. I like the Texans to win outright.
At 1:00 Sunday in Indianapolis, the Colts are 3-point home favorites against the Miami Dolphins.
This feels to me like a line that is indicative that Joe Flacco is playing quarterback in Indy. Do we think that's fair?
Yeah, it feels like Anthony Richardson's closer, but not there yet.
Okay, and we know that Miami chose to do nothing in their bye week at quarterback?
Yes.
So that's Snoop Huntley? Give me the Colts. Colts to cover.
Give me Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I agree. It's a threesome there. I mean, a three zip on that one, which covers the 2.5.
Be careful there.
It's a fun way to do it against the house.
Yes.
Anthony Rothman's favorite team, the Minnesota Vikings, are 2.5-point home favorites against the Detroit Lions Sunday at 1. I think Minnesota's a good football team, and I think I only need a field goal in this. So give me the Vikes. Cover your ears, AR.
Yeah, I think Minnesota is a good football team. I think Detroit might be a great one. What they've gotten out of Jamison Williams to unlock that offense and him humming now is a real problem for teams. I think Detroit's a little bit of a buzzsaw. I like Detroit winning outright at Minnesota.
I concur with Bo Bishop, the all-seeing, all-knowing.
The final 1:00 game on Sunday has the Giants hosting the Eagles. Philadelphia is a 3-point road favorite.
I don't think Philly's got some real problems. And they're not what they were a couple of years ago. And Sirianni's got his hands full, and he's in his own head. He's got a lot going on. But the loss of Andrew Thomas on the Giants' offensive line is going to be a problem because the Philly pass rush is very, very real. I like Philly going into New York. Saquon Barkley's return to the Meadowlands. I like the Eagles. I got them winning by 7.
I concur. How could anybody be more motivated than Saquon Barkley?
I concur. Your concur. Eagles minus the 3 there. At 4:05 in Los Angeles, the Rams are 7-point home favorites against the Las Vegas Raiders. Ram it all day, ram it all night. Even with Las Vegas getting a new minority owner in Tom Brady, I still like the Rams here because it's, another week of Aiden O'Connell, and does anybody want to see that?
It's weird that the Rams, this is similar to like the Buffalo one for me. Like, it's so many points, or like I guess it was Jacksonville. It's so many points for a Rams team that's got one win on the year, but it's possible Cooper Kupp could be coming back. I saw that from McVay earlier in the week. They're coming off their bye. I like just ram it as well. I think they win by 10.
I concur with Bo Bishop, who knows basically what you need to know about the National Football League.
Commanders at 4:05 Sunday are 8-point home favorites against the Carolina Panthers.
Man, this is 8. I think Washington's really good. And Carolina, I think maybe the Dalton thing has worn thin a little bit. There was an opportunity for them for a backdoor cover last week, so I think this is right on it. But Vegas usually is, which is why they have all those fancy places out there for you to stay when you gamble your money. I think it's very close, but I'm going to go Jaden Daniels getting back on the winning track. I think they win by 10. Give me the Commies.
Not just fancy places to stay, fancy places to gamble.
Yes.
I am with Bo Bishop on this one. Washington Commanders, not only Washington Commanders cover.
We 3 agree on the Commies minus 8. At 4:25, the San Francisco 49ers are a 1.5 favorite over the Kansas City Chiefs. I like KC to win outright here.
So Mahomes is like 122-1 when he's a dog of 3 or less. That number's not right because he hasn't been a dog that much. But basically when he's an underdog, he wins. San Francisco getting a little healthier. I still think they're going to be fine. Kansas City, I just feels clutch to me. And my God, they've dealt with a lot of injuries. I think one thing to watch on Kansas City, guys, is will there be a reaction to what Buffalo did and what the Jets did? Will they go after, is there a receiver out there that they could try to bolster that group with? Because no Rice, obviously, and they're banged up pretty good. But I like Kansas City as well, winning outright.
Yeah, when Mahomes is a dog, he's the pick of the litter. I like Kansas City also to cover, win outright.
We'll pick the Monday night games. There's a doubleheader Monday night. We'll pick those on Monday's program. But the final one we'll do for this segment, Sunday night, 8:20 in Pittsburgh. The Jets are now 2.5-point road favorites against the Steelers. This will be a Russell Wilson game for Pittsburgh.
Is that official?
No, not officially official. But everybody who reports and does all of that says it's going to be Russ's game.
Yes.
As I saw Pelissaro reported it, and then Tomlin debunked it. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you could go off of Fields here at 4-2. And I know that the last time out, but he gives you so much in the red zone as well. It seems so strange to go off him at this juncture. The bigger issue, though, and the reason I'm picking the pick I'm going to make is you can get Devontae Adams all you want, you get Garrett Wilson all you want. You cannot block T.J. Watt, and those safeties on the back end make you pay when he creates pressure. I like the Steelers winning outright.
I like the Steelers winning outright, and definitely to cover because New York Jets, that 2.5, man, you watch the field goals that were missed the other day. Wow.
I like Pittsburgh in this as well. It's going to be a 7 field goal game, but it's going to go in favor of the home team. You're going to see Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to see a lot of T.J. Watt, and it's not going to be pleasantries exchanged.
You're preaching our sermon, brother.
Yeah, I don't know how they protect him in that one, and he can't see his blind side for the life of him anymore. I don't know what it is. The 2 Monday Nighters are Ravens at Bucks and then Cards at Chargers. One of the games we talked about is the Battle of Ohio. It is the Bengals. It is the Browns. What exactly are the Cleveland Browns doing? We will attempt to make sense of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and Common Man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Come into your local AAA Car Care Plus and save up to $160 on select sets of Ford Nokian tires. Only at AAA Car Care Plus locations. And on the plus side, AAA members save more. Offer ends October 31st. See store for details.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code Columbus now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust and Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
Columbus, the most wonderful time of the year, is finally here because Blue Jackets hockey is back. See it all and make new memories all season long. Get your tickets today at BlueJackets.com. Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing. Those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hear that? That's the sound of Bernie Moreno shredding evidence to avoid paying his employees. You see, Moreno refused to pay his employees the overtime pay they earn, so they sued him. And after a court ordered Moreno to keep the evidence of his wage theft, what did he do? That's right, he shredded it. Moreno even admitted to shredding evidence in court. He was found liable for wage theft, and a court forced him to pay over $400,000. Innocent people don't shred evidence. And now that Bernie Moreno is running for Senate, he doesn't want to talk about how he was caught ripping off his employees. And that begs the question, do you want a guy like that representing you in the Senate? Bernie Moreno, you can't trust him to be for you. The United Association of Plumbers and Pipefitters paid for and is responsible for the content of this ad. UA.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, sunny with a high of 62. Not quite as cold tonight, but still cold enough for the winter jacket. Lows in the low to mid 30s. Tomorrow afternoon, we are up near 70. And then on Saturday, we're looking at sunny skies, high 71. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, or whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
I want to invite you to join us. Unforgettable evening. It's Tuesday, November 12th. High Bank Distillery in Grandview. Thrilled to invite you to the release of our exclusive fan barrel picks. I was in on the selection of these. You're going to love them. 3 very distinct barrel picks, all honestly something for everyone. And I think there's some that are going to hit really, really big in terms of the flavor profile. Proceeds here benefit Brady Quinn's Third and Goal Foundation, making a difference in the lives of veterans. Enjoy exclusive barrel picks, delicious food pairings, live music, meet and greet with select athletes. For tickets and more information, head to 971thefan.com. Must be 21 older. Please drink responsibly on that. The Cleveland Browns traded Amari Cooper earlier this week. The first time since the trade of Amari Cooper. Kevin Stefanski was available. Deshaun Watson as well, ironically enough. Here is Kevin Stefanski first on the trade of Amari Cooper.
Disappointed when you lose any player for injury or otherwise, trade, whatever it is. So, I wish Amari luck. Obviously, talked to him yesterday. We're excited. It opens up opportunities for other guys. But, this is, you obviously become close to your players, and you don't like to lose anybody for any reason, but we understand the business part of that, and we're excited what the opportunities will be for some other guys.
Tim, you are a longtime reporter. If you were in that scrum yesterday when Kevin Stefanski was made available, what question would you ask him?
Coach, it just looks like every time Deshaun Watson gets between a rock and a hard place, he looks for Amari Cooper. At least it's been my impression. Now, whom will he seek? Who, of course, it kind of dovetails with getting Nick Chubb back, which is going to help everything. We'll get to that in a minute, I'm sure. Yeah. But I me, man, when you've got a really good player, and I think Amari Cooper he's had some inconsistency this year, catching the actual football a few times, but bottom line is he's still a big-time player and a big-time receiver who seems to be able to get open most of the time when you need him to, no matter what the coverage is. So that would be my question. Coach, was this your idea?
Yeah,
because no way it was.
Well, yeah, it was. That's the damnedest thing about it.
I know.
Here's the crazy thing.
Put him on the spot.
Yeah, and what I would say, I like how you did it at the end. I think the thing is how can you do you believe you're a better team without Amari Cooper?
Right.
That's the root of this. And Amari was not going to be back next year anyway, because it was this contract and then he was going to walk. Everybody knew that. But this was an all-in season for them. And as they're sitting there at 1-5 with all these divisional games looking forward and this insistence on continuing to play Deshaun Watson and seeing something in him that, quite honestly, nobody else does, then how can you possibly stand in front of a team and make an argument you're a better team without Amari Cooper? And that's the thing that's really troubling to me. I don't know that it's not trading him, Tim and Reese. It's not. It's the timing of the trade.
Correct.
They got a 3 in exchange for Amari. I'm pretty sure you could have got that at the trade deadline. Why not see if you can win a couple of games here and get yourself back to close to even?
Exactly.
It's tough. It's Cincinnati. It's Baltimore. It's the Chargers. Really tough. But if you were to win 1 or 2 of those 3, then you're kind of maybe back in the mix. The timing of it struck me as so odd.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. That's the thing that hit me most of all is like, at least get through this weekend. What kind of cards you playing? And I'm with you 100%. Sorry.
I do wonder, who was it asked for?
For Amari?
Yeah. Was it something where, I keep thinking back to Hard Knocks where I forget the receiver's name. It was Corey Coleman. Was like, if you're not going to play me, then trade me. And I don't think it was that obvious because, it was just when, to Tim's point, when Watson needed something, he went to Cooper. It just, when it hit Cooper's hands, it went somewhere else, the football. So I feel like this would be a front office decision, less Cooper's.
I think let's just do 2 things. One, from a asset accumulation standpoint, you traded a 5 for Amari Cooper and got 2,000-yard seasons out of that. That's a pretty good return.
Yeah.
You got a 3 back. So you end up with you got him for 2 years and you end up with a better pick than the one that you sent. Now, the counter to that would be, okay, great, but you guys can't draft receivers.
Yeah.
So How are you going to replace him? And they're going to say it's Jerry Jeudy. They're going to say Jerry Judy's going to replace him. And Jerry Judy's been all right. He's got 20 catches for 248 yards. By their standards, that's pretty good. Rodney McLeod is a safety, a reserve safety for the Browns, who's been having to play a lot. He is currently the Cleveland Browns leader in touchdowns scored with 2 now that they've traded Amari Cooper. Amari had 2. Rodney McLeod had 2. If that doesn't paint the picture of what's going on up there offensively, I don't know what does.
Yeah. What a picture. What a picture. A Pollock.
On the Chubb return, most of you have probably read the letter that he wrote. Was it the Players Tribune, Reese?
Yeah.
Yeah. Most have probably read it. That's the most raw, honest, forthcoming that I've ever seen Nick, quite honestly, than anyone's ever seen Nick. Like, Nick Chubb is a Madden creative player of perfection. He's everything you'd want a football player to be in terms of work ethic, the way he carries himself, his accountability. He is speak softly, carry a big stick. That's Nick Chubb. And so that was an incredibly moving piece that he wrote.
Wait a minute. Those are as told to, you know that, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean. Yeah. I mean, his thoughts.
They're massaged.
You're right.
Yeah,
that needs to be clarified. I'm sure that he didn't sit down at a laptop and pen that. But it was told to, and he put it out there. It's good clarification to you. If you think Nick Chubb is going to be an elixir for what ails the Browns offense after what he's been through, I hate to break it to you, but I don't ever want to doubt Nick Chubb, but I see no scenario how he could possibly be anything more than 75% of what he used to be.
Yeah.
And I think I think he's going to be on a pitch count. It would be one of the more shocking things in my sports observing life if on Sunday Nick Chubb carried it 22 times for 127 yards.
Yeah.
That just ain't happening.
That would really be pushing the envelope. And you're pretty tight in the Browns coverage up, with Cleveland. What is your sense? Is your sense that he will be no better than 75 or 80% of what he once was? Is that what the scuttlebutt?
That's just.
I know it's common sense.
It's just common sense.
Yes.
I mean, folks have to understand. He had a catastrophic knee injury in college.
Yes.
And then he shredded 2 the other ligaments in that same knee. So this was a second catastrophic injury that was even worse than the first. He had 2, not 1, 2 major surgeries. When you're reading that piece in the Players Tribune, he says that for however many months, his leg was in that straight brace, and he looked down, and Nick Chubb's leg was the size of his arm.
Yeah.
It was atrophied. So the notion that, like, he is going to be some sort of it's going to be an incredible moment when he's introduced. It's going to be a lovely distraction for how bad they've been offensively. But it's also, I think, unfortunately, going to be pretty short-lived in terms of immediate impact. Is it possible that a year from now or even in December he could start to look sort of like he used to? Yeah. I think that's in play. Yeah. We've come a long way with orthopedic surgery.
The mental speed bump, speed bump is bigger than the physical speed bump on 100%. Something like this. And maybe I think y'all have sound on what Deshaun Watson thinks he could make of it, but the difference that Nick Chubb could make.
Play it.
Super, super nice to be able to have his presence, his energy, his work ethic, and just to have Chubb in the backfield. And, he definitely means a lot, not just for this offense, but for this community and this organization. So definitely, that excitement and hopefully that spark that we need to take it to another level.
Here's what I would. This is what I would say about Nick Chubb, and I would put Myles Garrett in this conversation as well. There are a generation of Browns fans, and certainly here in Central Ohio, there are a ton of them. You see that with the ratings, who hearken back to Kozar and Matthews and Eric Metcalf and that run,
yes.
Right? Those heyday late '80s Browns. Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett are the modern version of that. Agreed. People will look back in so longingly for Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett, and it'll be talked about forever because they are greats among greats, and I think that's kind of what this is going to be. But I think what the Browns were building towards and what the reality of where they are was manifested best with what happened this week with Amari Cooper. This was not in the brochure to trade Amari Cooper in October.
Hey, is Jameis Winston that bad now?
You know, honestly, I think if there is a change at quarterback, I think it'll be Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Tim.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think it'll be Jameis.
Still don't understand, but I do understand. I don't understand at the same time.
Yeah.
If you follow my drift.
I know. Yeah. I think if they do make a change at quarterback, they'll go DTR, not Jameis. We'll do a little Shelley time. Jackets with a opening night of sorts coming up next. They host the Sabres tonight. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. The Daily Coach Ryan Day Show is brought to you locally by Credit Union of Ohio and by Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
This is a Daily Show with Coach Ryan Day, brought to you by Safe Flight Auto Glass. Second bye week. I know you had a certain emphasis you had on the first one. Kind of the same approach or a little different this time?
Yeah, a little different. We'll let some of the guys, heal up and get their feet underneath them, really work on the 2s and 3s and really grind those guys because we're going to need them in this home stretch. We got a 6-game run here and then the Big Ten championship game. So the goal is to run the table here and then play in the Big Ten championship game. And so, it's going to start with Nebraska and then on to Penn State, and then it kind of goes from there. So, we're going to gear that up, and we'll work on some things that we need to get adjust here in the bye week, but also let these guys get some rest because it's going to be a good run that will go on. And so, kind of get that bad taste out of our mouth coming out of the last game, but now we got to focus on what's moving forward because. The good news in the way that things are now in college football is, we control it all. So, if we continue to win games, then we're going to continue to have opportunities, and it's going to start with our first game against Nebraska.
We'll have another comment in just a moment. Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at SafeLight.com. SafeLight Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
SafeLight Repair, SafeLight Replace.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams. The agile, get it done teams. The achieve more together teams. And the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Coach, with a bye week, I know recruiting, it's always important, but is this where recruiting kind of takes a different level, different track as far as the attention and the activity that you can have?
Yeah, we can get out and watch some games. That's good, and so we'll get that and some during the week, mostly on Friday. Get our staff out there to get around some of these guys because signing day is very close. It's right around the corner in December.
Okay, this is the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
What do football and finances have in common? The team you play with makes a big difference. Credit Union of Ohio is your financial team to help you save and spend like a winner. Whether you're looking to make a big purchase or find ways to build up your savings, you'll always work with a team player at Credit Union of Ohio. Navigate your next big money play easily through Credit Union of Ohio's website at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
For more than 35 years, Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse has been known by Buckeye Nation as serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks have been a staple in Columbus with 3 locations. In Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. Hyde Park is proud to introduce our newly added wine room at the downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining will surround you. And coupled with live entertainment every weekend, Hyde Park will be the perfect setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Some
people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check that your guests like spicy first before serving atomic hot wings.
Who's hungry?
Oh my gosh. What are these?
You don't like them? Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Water.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
The gloves. Shelley time.
Jackets, Sabres tonight, nationwide, 7 o'clock. For perspective, we do a little Shelley time on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline with Jody Shelly. Buddy, lots to get to. Your vantage point of everything that went down, and I said this on the show yesterday, pal. I thought it was pitch perfect. I thought everything the organization did was absolutely flawless. It was incredibly emotional, obviously, with the tribute to Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau. Did you know that they were going to do the 13 seconds and that left wing spot would be left open?
You know what? I heard that yesterday morning. I wasn't sure what that looked like, but it was incredible because Monahan was Johnny Gaudreau's best friend.
Yeah.
Bennett played with him in Calgary, and Monahan and Bennett had a little chat just before puck drop, and they agreed that Monahan would push the puck to Bennett. They played on the line together, and then Bennett would put it over to Johnny's spot.
My God.
And if that doesn't hit you where it hurts, I mean, that whole night was, no one knew what to expect. The emotions were all over the place. And when that puck dropped after that 13 seconds, when you're at a hockey game, usually there's buzz on the bench, there's talking, there's coaches pushing. And I talked to Paul Maurice after, the Florida Panthers head coach, and he said, you know, it was, our bench was quiet, the ice was quiet, their bench was quiet. We weren't saying a word for the first 3 minutes about how the game was being played. And it kind of, you could feel it like no one really, everyone was kind of playing with their hearts in their throats there. It settled in to be a great game, but what you said off the top, I agree with. You know, the Blue Jackets took a situation, an unthinkable situation, and they did the best and even better than you could think of for the presentation and how it was handled. And even the conversations before, like Dean Evison talking about how his players were handling it. You know, he said to the guys, and he said to us, he said, I told them, if you want to cry, you cry. If you want to be mad, be mad. But, you know, do it together and do it your way. And that's kind of the approach that I think it's when you hear that, it makes sense because, you know, there's no one way to deal with it. And you got the sense with Monahan after, who I watched closely all game. And, you know, he was playing for Johnny all night. And he said Johnny was in the building. And how he handled it, and you don't know how he feels after, but you could feel like he brought the joy and also the passion and the hurt all in one every shift. And it was just it was well done, and it was a night that we didn't know what to expect, but it came off with a really nice feeling.
Jody, this is Tim May. Yeah, nothing.
Tim.
How you doing? Nothing replaces raw emotion, and I think that's what was on display. You know, and like you said, it's best to let it out as opposed to hold it in and stuff. But as you're watching this, I mean, how do you eventually as a team move on, or do you really in your mind move on? Like you said, you play like, you know, in your mind, Goudreau is still there in terms of inspiration, et cetera, right? I mean, but everybody will handle it differently, and it's kind of interesting to watch as this goes, right?
It is, and you take it moment by moment, day by day, because there's going to be things that are brought up and things in situations where, you're going to think a lot of disbelief that it's actually real that it happened. And then there's going to be moments where they're going to have joy because they know Johnny would act a certain way or want them to. And having Meredith there and the strength that she has, that's Johnny Goudreau's wife. He left behind a wife and 2 kids, and she's pregnant. And she was there the other night, and having her there was, having his dad there was one thing, because he is devastated, and he's you can see it on him. But with her, she has a smile, she has a way, and it's almost like she's living for Johnny already. This is early, and these are all good things for the players and the families to be around. But I just think that their approach of having his jersey, knowing what he was like, knowing how he would have wanted them to be, and bringing joy when they can, I think that's going to be a big part of this healing process.
Yeah. I think Dean Evason's going to be a big part of it too, Jode. I don't know. I mean, there's no blueprint to handle all of this, but I could not be more impressed. And I don't know him just watching from afar, but it feels like he's pushing every button correctly. And I know Don at the top is too. So, I mean, that veteran leadership at the top and on the bench, I think, is a big part of it. And then there was the moment when Kent Johnson finds Cole Sillinger, and he buries it, and Cole celebrates, and you go, boy, that's the future now. It's these young guys who, it's 3 games, and you and I talked about it before the opener, but it's 3 games, but they're finding themselves. These are 21-year-old kids, Jode, but they're not playing that way, and they're kind of blowing down. Look, you get a loss. You want wins. I understand it. But at the same time, like, the way they're going about their business is awfully encouraging.
Yeah, and when you look at how Dean Evason started that game with that left winger not there, and Cole was out there just for puck drop, it's because of the impact and how emotional and how he was impacted by Johnny Goudreau. And this is a kid that we've seen develop now the past few years, comes in with some good moments, has a struggling second year, and then finds himself last year. It takes 3 or 4 years to figure out your role on a team. And for Kent Johnson, we're playing against the Sabres tonight. I spoke with Owen Power, top pick in the draft a couple of years ago. He's best friends with Kent Johnson, played with him at Michigan. And he went on and on about how Kent trained this summer, and it was strictly speed. He wasn't on the ice very much. He just worked on speed. And I think that's what we're seeing from him, but also a maturity and a strength on the puck. And when you have guys like James Van Riemsdyk come into the organization, who's now played forever, has played with everyone, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, he's been coached by some great coaches, pulls me aside and says, these 2 young players, I mean, people, if they get them with the right people and put them in the right situation, these are going to be superstars. And, when you hear it from the guys that are on the ice with them and see how they see the vision, it's tremendous. But you got the right mix, right? Because Evason did actually give them a clean slate. And that's encouraging for these kids at this stage of the career to show him exactly what they are. And maybe if he came in 3 years ago or 2 years ago, Kent Johnson would be in a different role, but he is where he is at the right time with the right coach right now. Monahan, to me, it comes in as a great veteran, number 1 centerman, and the pieces around him are complementary. So I think everyone gets excited when we finally see those young guys taking a step, because we've seen a lot of potential, maybe faded, maybe not put in the right situation. Who knows? And that's one thing I spoke with Penguins coach Mike Sullivan about the other day, was the intellect of Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. You have to let them make the mistakes, because they see the game at a different level. And I feel like with our young guys now, Evason is allowing that to happen. Put Fantilli in that group too. He's a player that's trying to find his way. He's going to play with James Van Riemsdyk tonight and Kent Johnson, because Danforth is back. we'll see what that does for Fantilli. That could really bring him to life tonight.
Yeah, I like the aggressive. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. I like the aggressiveness so far I've seen, especially offensively by them and stuff. And I'm just wondering, through the first 3 games, despite the 1-2 start, what is it that's jumped out to you? You know, you just touched on it a little bit, but just feels a little bit different about this team.
Oh, Tim, I like it. Your aggressiveness. You're thinking about that when football gets snapped at the line. It's like a cannon going off.
Yeah.
I love it.
Are you going for it, or are you going to just try to get 3 yards in a cloud of dust? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. The difference is Dean Evison played the game, 800 games in the National Hockey League. He's coached a long time. He's a guy that he's put the boundaries up. There's some non-negotiables, but he wants his team to be clear on how they're going to play. It's not complicated, but he wants them to go. And he's going to live with the mistakes. So you're seeing Zach Werenski, who is a superstar in this league. You're seeing him behind the net in the offensive zone. You're seeing him back in defense. He's everywhere.
Yeah.
You're seeing Severson doing the same thing. So it's aggressive. It's not a stale forwards go, D stay. It's everybody goes. And if someone's out of position and you see it, you get back and cover. So it's a 5-man kind of let's go, giddy up and go type of game.
Yeah.
And it's hardworking. You know, that's the other non-negotiable. I think here in Columbus, our fans expect that effort. And who doesn't love the high flying? Live with the mistakes, but giddy up and go.
Yeah, it's been
Amen.
awesome.
You're preaching to the choir, brother.
Jode, we got to
There you
run.
go.
You guys were great on the broadcast, too. That's a tough spot for everybody, but I thought you guys were spectacular. Let's get a win tonight.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, buddy.
All right. Have a great day, guys. Good talking to you. Go Jackets.
All right, that's Jody Shelly with a little bit of Shelley time, Jackets and Sabres tonight. 3 things on a Thursday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
Just how liberal could Sherrod Brown be? What are his actual votes?
Well, he backed bills to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports and let transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms.
Very liberal.
Brown supported allowing children to receive puberty blockers and even sex change surgery.
Super liberal.
And worse, Brown even voted to allow late-term partial birth abortions, a procedure where the baby is partially delivered alive. That's right. Brown's votes for partial birth abortion are in the congressional record. And Sherrod Brown voted to allow this terrible procedure not once, not twice, but 6 different times over 8 years.
That's radical liberal.
Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's just way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Shop low prices and great deals all week long at Meijer. Buy 5 or more and save $5 or more on hundreds of items across the store, like General Mills cereal, Swanson broth, and 12 packs of Coca-Cola or Pepsi products. Plus, shop our huge selection of Halloween items for spooky good savings. Get 25% off Halloween costumes and buy 2, get 1 free Halloween snack or jumbo-sized candy. Exclusions apply. See all deals in store or in the Meijer app.
Where can you find a locally owned John Deere dealership that offers unmatched individual attention? Voss Brothers Power Equipment. Voss Brothers has been serving our friends and neighbors in Central Ohio for over 30 years. Stop by their Powell location on Sawmill Road and make your work easier with the versatile John Deere 1025R compact utility tractor. Save with huge fall discounts and tackle any task with ease. With low prices and great service, come experience the difference at Voss Brothers Power Equipment.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
Script Ohio necklaces, Blocko earrings, Ohio State bangles, and more. You'll find an exclusive collection of luxury Buckeye jewelry you'll love at the Diamond Cellar, starting at $99. Show your Buckeye love at the Diamond Cellar, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change wants to help ease your oil change-anxiety with a few moments of automotive peace.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers, like Matt.
When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do you have on the poll today?
The Daily Fan poll asks, who should the Browns trade next? Greg Newsome, Jack Conklin, Denzel Ward, or other. 39% of you out there think Denzel Ward's next up on the trade block. 23% say Greg Newsome. 11% say Jack Conklin. 26% say other. And the first reply I see is Myles Garrett, followed by everyone, all of them. Like, we can't do that, guys.
It's not going to be 21 or 95. I can promise you that. How's the Animal House one going, Reese?
About as well as you guys had said at the top of the show, where you'd wanted to know if our listeners had seen the 1978 film Animal House. 86% said yes.
Good. Faith in humanity restored. 3 things on a Thursday. Hit it.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
All right, number 1 for me. I had mentioned this a couple of weeks ago that we had a 5th grader on Beamsy's team who I'd been wanting to play basketball for the longest time. And when you have a kid who is 5'10", 5'11", and he's 10, that's a gift from the gods. Yesterday in practice, we're doing a 3-on-2-on-1 drill, and he caught the ball in the wing and then flicked a no-look pass to a cutter for a layup, and I about lost it. Like, it's unbelievable. It's such an unbelievable gift. God bless him. Going to be fantastic.
Yeah. In other words, he's tall with skills.
He can go. He can go.
My number one thing is I met a guy named Jim Coleman in the Portland airport. He was seeing his wife off after them spending the weekend and a couple of extra days around the Ohio State game, being out there. He's from Columbus, and he had a Blue Jackets jersey on, but he played Bandon Dunes earlier in the week, and he was seeing her off and then flying to Vegas to play more golf. Almost living my life.
Wow.
Yes. Feels like an announcement's coming with quarterback 1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who host the New York Jets Sunday night. Justin Fields was asked about that particular or a possible demotion before practice today.
I don't think I played, good enough. If I'm being real with you. If I'm being real with myself, I think if I did play well enough, I don't think there would be any sort of who should be playing, who should not. So at the end of the day, we got a few wins. Of course, I'm glad about that, but there's areas that I could be better at, and I'm just gonna continue to work on those and continue to get better.
He's a professional.
He is, and I'm going to make this my number 2. He is a professional. That's a very mature way to handle that. The other thing I would say, though, is I don't think he's right. I think he has played well enough to keep the job. They're 4-2. He's at a passer rating over 90 in 4 of the games. He is an enormous threat in the red zone, something Russell Wilson won't be. They don't get many things wrong in that organization, and I'll reserve judgment till I see how Wilson plays on Sunday, as obviously he's going to start. But I think they did Justin a little bit dirty here, and I think it maybe hurts the long-term future of him there as well in terms of I would have kept building off of him. I really would have. I think there's a lot there.
I agree. There's talent there. We saw it, live, and just surround him with the right people and then really hone in. My number 2 is Crater Lake, ladies and gentlemen, is the real deal. You probably don't have to visit more than once, but when you realize all the water there, got there by snow or rainfall, number 1. Number 2, how deep it is, the deepest in the United States, and it's so clear, it's ridiculous. And I was just so thankful to be able to scratch that off my bucket list, which has been on my bucket list, I think, longer than anything else for like 72 years. Or excuse
What's
me,
the depth?
62 years.
What is the depth?
It varies from like 11 to 1,300 feet. It can go to 1,900 feet, and it's in it's obviously a volcano that collapsed. But that's the other cool thing about it. There are all these peaks of the volcano crater around it. It's just surreal.
You talk about things being deep. That's the hole the Guardians find themselves in.
That's a good part.
I am just asking the baseball gods, please gift Josh Naylor or Bo Naylor some foresight into actually hitting or actually getting a hit or driving in a run when you absolutely need it. Jose Ramirez, too. Like, that home run was great in Game 2, but if they don't win today, they're breaking out the brooms in Cleveland tomorrow. The Yankees are. If
nothing less, win it for Corey May. That's all I'm asking. Win it for
Eric Reeser.
Yeah.
You guys vote for both. Real quick, I would say this. If anyone has any sort of way of getting a 2-year-old Buddy Garrity golden retriever into a car without me having to lift him and basically throw him in, I've tried treats. I've tried anything. There's something traumatic. I can't fix it. I don't know what's going on.
Steps.
I did it. We got a ramp.
Okay.
Still won't.
It's stunning how many, my number 3, stunning how many OSU fans are out there. They showed up in force and stuck around at Oregon. Buckeye Nation is the real deal.
Yeah, I'll add my 2 cents just to the Oregon trip, having done it this past summer. There's nothing like that in the Big Ten footprint, and I'll say the rest of the country. Everybody should go out to Oregon at least once.
It's a great, great state. The Pacific Northwest is pretty awesome. The Ryan Day Show coming up next. We're back tomorrow on a Football Friday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The Fan is live and local with Morning Juice, Caffeinate, and Dominate.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. This is a Fan Action Update.
Download the Prime Sports Ohio app today or visit primesportsbook.com and use the promo code JUSTSPORTS for a welcome bonus of up to $100. Patrick Mahomes is 10-3 straight up as an underdog, 11-1-1 against the spread. That is the best straight up mark for a quarterback as a dog. Minimum 10 starts in the Super Bowl era. Chiefs are a 1.5-point underdog to the 49ers on Sunday. For your Prime Sports Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Your weekend freebie is free Kroger brand 12-pack seltzer water. Simply clip your digital coupon and spend $50 or more Saturday or Sunday. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor?
Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
It's football season, and Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for all the action on the gridiron. With a game-changing rewards program, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats ensures that every fan can catch their favorite teams and players in action. Vivid Seats has you covered with deals that cater to every football enthusiast. And all tickets come back by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com